No? Oh, come on. Oh no, it is. It's live. Are we live? Are we?
Oh yeah, now YouTube seems to work.
Has that got it? Are we there now, guys?
Yeah, it seems to work now on my end anyway.
Yes. I know how to upset restart the PC. Sorry, guys. Crisis averted. But we are here. And we are live. Just me at the minute. Nobody else is here. Saragaki's here. We get everybody a chance to come in. Ooh. Right, bust the song then. Oh wait a minute, I'll upload that. Get a video pad going as well. Load that. Let's see whether we can start with the...
yes, this is basic geometry. Your flat Earth geometry. Flat Earth geometry. This is basic geometry.
It is.
I called you a flat earther.
My name's Ramsey.
Insisting that your flat Earth geometry will work.
I'm familiar with the bubble, Morty. I also dabble in precision, and if you think you can even approach it with your sad naked caveman eyeball in a bubble of air, you're the reason this species is a failure, and it makes me angry.
Did he say a five-sided square question mark?
You're a universal horizontal waterer.
You're drunk.
I called you a flat earther.
You want to experience true level? Do you?
Yes.
You want to experience true level?
That auto level is establishing a horizontal. That's just the way it is.
Because I've done the test with an auto level, which gives you a horizontal.
Yeah, it's gonna look super flat.
All right, come on. Wow, it's so...
Three coplanar points.
Oh, Christ. Yeah, true level, bitch.
I called you a flat earther.
If you're into math, there's a certain shape where you could make a five-sided square.
Are you suggesting that horizontal can't curve?
Oh, everything's crooked. Reality is poison. I want to go back. I hate this.
What's his deal?
Morty. Go to school, Summer. I'll go in Morty's memory and do a little.
Randy, come on, that's a globe. He eventually just gave up and said, yeah, I agree, it's a globe.
Geodesic is a continuous string of infinitely small, straight lines.
Yeah, true level, bitch.
It's pretty flat and level now.
Randy, come on, that's a globe.
Yeah, true level, bitch.
Randy, come on, that's a globe.
Lance to the cosmic slaughter! Well?
You seem to be in charge of what I get to remember.
Why?
Good question.
Randy, come on, that's a globe.
I'll go in Morty's memory and do a little.
Wow, it's so... Oh my god! Oh Christ!
Yeah, true level, bitch.
If you're into math, there's a certain shape where you could make a five-sided square.
Randy, come on, that's a globe.
Yeah, true level, bitch.
Wow, it's so... Oh my god! Oh Christ!
Yeah, true level, bitch.
I called you a flat earther.
True level, bitch.
I called you a flat earther.
True level, bitch.
Like, you gotta
I
be
called
an
you a flat
idiot,
earther.
a moron,
Yeah,
a
true
waste of
level,
a time of a
bitch.
person to think.
When you get to the end of this test and you have a result and you say level is horizontal and everyone says big whoop, that doesn't prove anything about the shape of the earth, will you then say yes it does?
No.
No. Okay, I'm going to bed. All right.
Okay, so
I'm going to bed.
that level is horizontal is good for you then, right?
I agree. I agree. Level's horizontal. All
Sweet.
Right,
True level, bitch.
Perfect.
Wow.
Nice, mate. I came
Nice.
in just for that. You flipped it, man.
Yeah, true level, bitch.
Oh, let me get these transitions. There you go. Look at that. That was a bit bad, to be honest with you. I'll get better at doing this shit. Right, so welcome everyone. This is back after a week off. Don't ask why we had a week off. Let me sort all of this stuff out. We get this shared out. I didn't get all of it shared across all of these bits. Let me just have a do with this. I can't do much, so I'm trying to do stuff. Help us out by getting this shared. Oh, what's it doing? Come off the live, right? We are live. Everybody knows we're live. Right, so on last week we had a bit of a week off, but on Friday of last week went to Mr. Sensible's. Now, just before we went to Mr. Sensible's, we had a surprise visit from Brenda. And Brenda was in here arguing about some sort of logic. Now, I don't know whether I saved that or not, but it was rather strange that Brenda would be coming in here giving us or talking to us about the logic thing, seeing as I was to go to Mr. Sensible's on the Friday. Well, it was like in a few hours, so I never actually got a chance to go over and start the recording that we're doing, that we're going to go over now. Before I wanted to have a bit of a chat about what I initially wanted to do, because this is was us going over the Black Swan, and then my idea was to go over the Black Swan with an idea to oh, why it's putting that up there? Put the other one up in another room. Was to just go over the Black Swan, and like try and talk to Mr. Sensible, who was the Mr. Sensible is the logic and cheese man. I've been trying to talk to him for quite a while about the logic and how well, I say the logic and how logic works. So eventually I've worked a way to talk to Mr. Sensible about the Black Swan. I wanted to talk to him about just normal logic, since he is Mr. Logic and Cheese. And it took a while, but eventually I managed to, like I say, get him in with talking about him about the Black Swan. Now, my idea about going over the black swan was to bring the logic back into the conversation. Because there was a time when the logic was leading the argument, or logic should be leading the argument, should I say, because the formulation of the logic is the argument within, and that's the way we portray ourselves across with the argument. Now, logic being the best way to do that. So that's what we were planning on doing, was to go over this black swan, to bring it back into the public's view, and the, like, call it the power of the logic. Since we've got t-shirt logic, I've not noticed any of that chat working either. I don't know what's going on with that. My timers don't seem to be working on the things. Anyone want to see if any of the codes work in the chat? See wherever any of those are running. Should be. So, the initial idea of the black swan, QE's black swan, was to show people a modus tollens. So my idea was that particular modus tollens that QE set up ends up with saying the Earth is not a sphere of radius 3959. So I thought if I could go in there with the idea to show that Mr. Sensible would definitely give up that radius value first off, like, he'd just drop it. I mean, that's how little the logical argument means to anybody from the globe side, that the radius value that they have, they'll give it up because it means nothing to them. They've never measured it. They've never done anything. I'm just watching for that Zaragaki. I don't know. It seems like the whole bots and everything switched off.
Yeah, nothing seems to be going on there.
Right, let me just have a quick look. Yeah, it should be working. Modules, chat alerts, they're all on. Commands, they're all working. They're all switched on. I don't know. I'll have to look into that. We'll have to do another test again tomorrow. We can only just keep testing it. Yeah, there's loads of new ones as well I've added. And there should be timers running as well. Come on, switch it on. Right, switched it on. Streamlabs might be a mod. Might wonder whether he's come off the mod. I'll have to look at that some other time. It was even working the other day, wasn't it? Right, so the idea of me going over to Mr. Sensible's was to go over the Black Swan, but to bring the t-shirt logic back into the back into play, to let everybody know that what we've got here is a very simple method of trying to process an argument together, to try and get as most concise as you can. Initially was to talk about the Black Swan and bring in the black our T-shirt logic to try and let people understand about how simple the logic is that we deal with now. Let me see if I can get this. You guys in the Discord, you can see the chat. So if I need to open it up. How's that? That screen there. Yeah, how's that? Can you guys see that? Is it looking over there? Science works in mysterious ways. Well, Friday. Well, luckily enough, you get a chance to go over it tonight with us lot. Pity, I don't know why it's not working. We can't get anybody in. But if you want to come in and get involved in any of this, just pop into the Discord, and I'll see what we can do here. Right. I'm gonna put, this is Buster's new song anyway, so Agents of the Logos. Let us know if it's working with the sound and all of that over in
It's the echo in your brain. You know you can't sustain the misconceptions in your mind. One day you'll see for sure what all of this was for. Then you can leave it all behind. The journey begins. I am the one here that will show the proof. I am the one here that is searching for the truth. I am the whispers of the logic in your mind. I am an agent of the Logos. In the beginning was found this thing that cannot speak. It's how we all truly learn. It's only ever attained when one lets go of fear. So don't let wisdom pass you by. The journey begins. I am the one here that will show the proof. I am the one here that is searching for the truth. I am the whispers of the logic in your mind. I am an agent of the Logos. It was there all along. How could I never have seen this thing that's danced all around? It wasn't until I left behind the things I believed that I could see things so clear. The journey begins. Become the one here that will show the proof. Become the one here that is searching for the truth. Become the whispers of the logic in their mind. Become an agent of the Logos. Become an agent of the Logos. We are the agents of the Logos.
Right. Buster's new song, Agents of the Logos. Get it from, I don't know. Get it from my channel or Buster's channel. If I could get me thingies working, we'd get all of the links going, but obviously anybody can post them all if they want. So, again, this is me going over to Mr. Sensibles. Now, like I say, we had Brenda in here first, so I didn't really get a chance to do an intro. I tried it just a bit earlier. So my mission is to go in there and try and just spread the thing that we're doing at the minute, t-shirt logic, make it easy for people to understand, lay out the argument and in a clear and concise way so people can understand it, and obviously try and do that with the Black Swan. Now, I don't know whether most people know the backroom dealings or whatever, but this is, I'd hit record and then I'd gone over there. So this is what I literally I recorded going in there. So anybody want to pipe up or say anything, the beginning bit's just a bit, I think this is a bit for where Brenda was in here a bit early just before it. So
I'm not a troll.
Or are you not?
No, a troll. A troll.
You are a troll because you don't have any logic. Have you any logic for us?
I have plenty of logic. So a troll, in my book, is somebody that misrepresents themselves.
What?
In order to waste other people's time. So
you don't misrepresent yourself, do you not?
Yeah, I never do.
Never.
That's true. So what they might do, for instance,
you got your speakers on in the background there, Brenda?
I can't hear you when you talk over me.
If you got your speakers in, I think I can hear myself in the background. Is that from you?
Yeah, there's an echo going on.
Kind of an echo, Bev. Yeah.
Yeah. Is that coming from you, Brenda? Have you got it piped through? Have you not got your sound sorted? Switch your channels. Get them flicked around properly.
There you go. Is that better?
Yeah, much better.
Yeah, that sounds much better. Can they still hear? If you check with them, are they still all right listening in?
So my point is that a troll is somebody, for instance, suppose you have a group of people that are into, say, model railroads, right? They really like model railroads. Somebody who's a troll would go in there, pretend to be into their hobby. That's their hobby. And then says a lot of stuff just to get those people triggered and upset. That's
the model railway people. How would you imagine you have a go at them? Like, oh, you've used the wrong fucking colour of the jacket on that dude.
It's just an example, Bev. It's just an example.
Look at the size of your trees; they're not scaled right.
It's just an example, Bev. Don't get sidetracked by the example.
Brenda, you know me. I'm Gadget Inspector. You know me.
I don't really know you that well.
You know me from chat.
Yeah, but I don't really know you.
Can I ask you a question?
Come on, you best friends. Come on, Brenda. Can't fool us. He's been telling us about all the stuff you get up to in your spare time.
Brenda, why are you in this chat? In this Discord?
He's come to see his old mate, Gadget.
Yeah. You come to see me, Brenda. If you were in this chat, you bring logic into this chat. This is not a flat earth channel. Why are you here? This is a logic channel. Brenda.
Trolling, like he said. Come into a sort of model railway club.
Oh, I'm just wondering what Brenda's going to say.
Is this the model railway club that you're coming into, Brenda?
Bev.
Yeah.
Try to forget the example. It was not important.
So
I thought
Brenda,
it was quite good, though.
Can I ask you, Brenda, why are you in this chat?
Because it might be interesting.
Interesting what?
Yeah. It's a troll coming into the model railway club.
Okay.
Bev, forget about the example. It was just an example.
So we're talking about logic here. Brenda.
Okay, tell me something. Tell me something that you know about logic.
Right, so that was Brenda. That was literally just before, about half an hour before we were due to go over to Mr. Sensible's. Was a visit by Brenda. Obviously, come to do some serious trolling just beforehand. And then when I went over, this is I don't know whether I got it. Maybe. Brenda was over there waiting at Mr. Sensible. So I mean, this is me over there now at Mr. Sensible's. Don't be shocked. You might end up seeing Mr. Sensible's face. I think it's quite good.
And see how things go. Good evening, Bev. Can you hear me, pal?
I can, yeah.
Oh, all looking good.
Sweet.
How are you?
Fine, thank you very much.
Jolly good, jolly good. Well, this is going to be interesting, isn't it? Would you like to introduce yourself first, though, for anyone who perhaps hasn't heard of you?
Well, I'm just Bev.
Okay, just Bev.
Yeah.
Just Bev. All right, so, yeah, like I just said on the intro, I'm not 100% sure how this is going to go, because that is correct, isn't it? You think that the black swan does not evidence the Earth being flat. That's correct, isn't it?
I've never said that. No, I said I've got problems with it.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
But I mean,
go ahead?
Yeah, the Earth's obviously not flat. I mean, goes without saying, right?
Well, we're not going to go into the business of like bumpy Earth 420, but the fact it's got mountains. We all agree that is topography.
Okay, so we agree it's not flat then.
If you had a flat Earth, but it's got mountains, you'd still call it a flat Earth. It's basically not a sphere. You wouldn't. Okay. No. All right. Well, let's put it this way. I believe it's a sphere with topography, lumps and bumps and dips.
Okay. Which is we're going over the black swan.
Right. So, do you want to tell us what your problem? I have a problem with black swan. I think it's a load of crap. So, do you want to tell us your problem with the black?
Do you want to work through it together, logically, right? Right. So, going over the black swan, we've already got a problem, right? Because half of what we've been doing just recently, Sarigaki, we've been doing first principles of geometry. Mm-hmm. But as Sarigaki came in, he brought us the first principles of logic, I think. And
I would call them that, yeah.
Yeah. And it starts off with the law of identity. I mean, we've already had Emma with the mind your P's and Q's. Well, the P is we've been checking our P's and Q's, but Sarigaki brought in the fundamentals of the P is the law of identity, the law of the excluded middle, and the law of non-contradiction and double negative. But those, call them three basic ones, they're all based around the same sort of thing. And when we like to go into an argument, I mean, I think a lot of people don't like talking to us because we do this sort of thing, right? We mind our P's and Q's, so we're on top of what the P is. Now, Mr. Sensible's already said, we've tried to agree with him that it's not flat, right? We have to have an understanding of what flat is, and he's already breaking it. He wants flat to be not flat.
Yep, right from the get-go, he's already broken it.
Yeah, that's that's the logic, right? So I've already sussed that out with him. I've already worked out Mr. Sensible's already given up on his P before I can even start talking to him about these basic fundamental elements at the beginning. So that's the start that we've had. I mean, we obviously we'll get into the stuff that we get into, but this is an example of how difficult it might be able to be to talk to somebody about something when You know, the whole purpose is for me to go over there to talk about the Black Swan. And I'm talking to a guy that wants flat to be not flat, and he's trying his hardest to skim past it. I know that, and I know if I could spend an hour talking to Mr. Sensible right now about flat not being flat quite easily. Not worth it. So we'll blast on past that and get into the Black Swan with him.
Well, come on, you start. Tell us what your issue is with the Black Swan.
The initial case is it's called the Black Swan, right? Now, you initially have a conception of what the Black Swan is. Now, is that what the Black Swan is, or are you thinking of a picture?
I'm not even sure what you mean.
Well,
they seem to think that because that Black Swan image, that film by BLMS 69 or whatever he's called, happens to show platform, is it Habitat, the further one, and some ocean beyond it, that disproves the globe. That's their position.
Right,
I don't think that's the case.
The very term the Black Swan is Karl Popper falsification thing, showing one black swan means that you falsify.
All swans are white.
Yeah, you falsify the statement all swans are white. Right? So, step one: right. What is the idea of the Black Swan in the terms of that thing? Right? I mean, does anybody really understand what the concept of the Black Swan is?
I think it's quite obvious, Bev, because they did that Modus tollens, if P then Q, not P, not Q thing with the if you every horizon on a.
Did you like that?
Yeah, that wasn't quite Modus tollens, was it?
This is Mr. Logic. They did that. If not P, then let's do it again.
Modus tollens, if P then Q, not P, not Q thing with the if you
know the thing.
Thing, yeah, you know that, not P, not P thing.
Every horizon on a globe with a radius 3959 must have a horizon distance no more than, was it 1.22 times the observer square height?
That up. Do you want me to do it properly? I've got it. Yeah, if you
go on then, go ahead. That was just off the top of my head.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's get over I'll get around to that in a minute. So, the problem with the Black Swan is that nobody understands what the Black Swan is because they're thinking of the picture, right? Now, the actual Black Swan is for the person to gain. The logical statement gives you a concept for then you can find something, right, in the end. So the Black Swan actually is a personal thing. I think I messed that up bad. That was really hard to try and get him to get that. I'm trying to tell him that the picture, right, that's the Black Swan. The picture. And it's not anybody else's picture to have. That's BMSLB's picture. That's the only part of the Black Swan that makes it a Black Swan, is the thing that the individual gains from the getting the proof from the Black Swan. And it's still quite hard to explain, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like you have to go and personally experience that Black Swan. You can't just go to a bar or a pub and somebody told you they saw it, hearsay. You have to do it yourself. It's a personal thing for sure to get that proof as a proof and not just a story.
Well, that's what I'm trying to get across to him at the minute is QE's called it the Black Swan, right? Well, it's BMSLB's Black Swan to go with the statement that QE's made up, right? The Modus tollens should give rise to people to go out and gain their own Black Swans, right? It gives them an idea on what to go and do, to go and gain their own. Like I say, me and DP and all of that, we gain, like we can get them any week, anytime we want. Just go down to the beach, find something that's at a distance further away than it, what the statement for the QE says, and then take a picture and wait until you can find the horizon behind it, and boom, you've got your own black swan.
Yeah, for that specific argument.
Yeah, that's the black swan for that statement, that modus tollens. Well, that's what I was trying to do, but I don't know whether it came across and whether I actually got there, but we'll see. That technically would be BMSL B69's his black swan. Right, that picture was his black swan. Not necessarily, part of the argument. That's the result from the argument. So the actual black swan.
I don't think he even said black swan. He just his video just says here's a video that shows this, and I think it disproves curvature of the Earth, and that's got picked up by Oakley and everyone else, and saying, "Aha, that's a black swan because not all swans are white," etc.
Yeah. So
but does it matter? The point is, they think it disproves the Earth being a sphere.
No,
and it doesn't.
Yeah, because the way the logic statement's set up. Right, let me see if I can get it. I'll put it in this.
Oh, and I'll just say while Bev's looking for that, if anyone has any super chats, we'll save them up to the end. So if you've got any particular questions for Bev, then I'll bunch them up and ask them towards the end of the discussion.
Okay, so the idea of what we try and do is we call it t-shirt logic, but that just means a simplified version of logic.
What you mean memes that you can stick on a t-shirt and flog for a few quid?
Well, no, that you can, if you can simplify it good enough to make it understandable, that you could put it on a t-shirt, then it's accessible to everyone. That's the idea, the concept behind it. I mean, the fact that you do put it on a t-shirt. I mean, I've got
and flog it.
Got one on it. I've got one on at the minute. I'm not flogging them. I buy them. I don't sell them. So
anyway,
yeah. So the idea of By the way, anybody get a DP t-shirt? T-shirt shops on there somewhere. I'd get the link, but if I could, but it doesn't seem to be working. Yeah, I don't make the t-shirts. I don't sell the t-shirts. I buy the t-shirts. This is a nice little bit of stuff he does here. It's to simplify it. Now, at the base of all of the logic, we end up with we call them 4 basic laws of understanding. Like the law of identity, where P is P, right? P is always the identity of that object is always the object, right? So P is P. You've got blinking a lot.
P
or not P, which is the law of the excluded middle, right? So it can be either on or off, or one or the other, or that or not that, right? It can't be. There's nothing in between. That's how you base your statements. And then you've got obviously the law of non-contradiction. It can't be both P and not P. That's not allowed. And obviously the double negative, right? So that you base those laws at the beginning. So when you try and look at his face, you see him. Look at that. Look how intensely he's thinking. He's concentrating on that, isn't he? Just going over the basic laws.
Which he's the logic and cheese guy. Like, I don't know this guy, but if you're taking on the logic moniker, you should have this under your belt already.
Yeah.
This shouldn't come as a surprise or out of left field at all. This should be well understood.
Yeah, he's I don't know, like it's like it's a foreign language. Shout out Claire if you're out there. I mean, this is the basic logic. I mean, it does sound really weird to people when you hear it at first. But the law of identity, P is P. And the law of the excluded middle. I mean, we as a team obviously are going to get around to explaining it. If you want to come in, get involved in the discussion, come to the Discord. We'll try and run you through it, but these are things that need to be worked through. It's hard to do, to tell people about. You're best off discussing it, right, Saragaki?
Yeah, I would say. And it's like you say, advanced simplicity, because these are simple concepts. But when you go and try and explain something so simple, you're trying to simplify it even more. It's not easy. So, yeah, it's definitely something you want to talk about so that you can also get people looking at it from other angles to get input from. If you mess up along the way, you have people to show you the error of your ways, right? So it's always good to have people around you to talk about this with, so you don't sit and make shit up on your own, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think he's brave for doing this sort of stuff, because when we do this and we do these talks and these chats and stuff, I mean, to me, it's natural, but I can imagine to somebody who's not experienced in this sort of talking and thinking, you would end up pulling strange faces like that on camera.
Yep.
When you're meant to be the logic man. We're talking about that. So yeah, I'm living through this again as well, because I can't remember half the stuff that I'm doing it on the fly. So I know he goes a bit like the idea as well when I went in there is to keep pushing for this understanding, but for me as well, I'm trying to understand how Mr. Sensible ticks, right? He's the logic and cheese man. We just do basic simple logic. We want to try and make logic as simple as possible, so making it accessible to someone like Mr. Sensible might be quite fun. So check your P's and Q's within the logic. You've got to make sure that those are sorted at the beginning. So
I'll just say good evening, SE Montreal. I see is in the chat. Listen and learn, ballers. Okay, Bev, you're going through stuff about logic. What is the problem? It's the black swan you wanted to discuss.
Yeah, we go through the black swan now, right? So you've got if P, then Q. So we've got to check the P first, step one. Right, so the P in QE's black swan.
Oh, yes,
right?
It was QE who came up with that Modus tollens, wasn't it? Yes.
Okay, so it states, if the Earth is a sphere with a radius 3959 miles, P, right, so that's your P. So how do we know that? I mean, where did he get that from?
That's what you're questioning. That's the logical statement, isn't it? If it is a sphere radius 3959, then
yeah.
So I mean, we don't, for the sake of this Modus tollens, we don't know. That's the assumption. If it is, then this must hold true.
Yeah, but in order for you to do the logic, we have to check our P's and Q's. Mind your P's and Q's, right?
But you don't with that.
Well, where does it come from?
Well, it could be anything. You could say if the
could
Earth
be anything.
Is made of cheese, then I could slice it with a knife and have it in sandwiches.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah, but that's what you could say. So we don't have to prove at that point that the Earth is made of cheese. What we're saying is, if it is, you could slice it with and have it in sandwiches. We find that we can't slice it and have it in sandwiches. Therefore, it cannot be made of cheese.
Yeah, but in order to do this logic and go through it, do you like that? Like that for a Modus tollens? You're trying to explain it to somebody.
Oh, that's horrible.
If the Earth is made of cheese, we could slice it and put it on sandwiches. Oh, sorry. If the Earth is made of cheese, P, then we could slice it and put it on sandwiches, Q. We cannot slice the Earth and put it on sandwiches, not Q. Therefore, the Earth is not made of cheese. It's a genius. how intensely he's thinking now. He's like, how are you going to come back from that? And some big earphones, them as well, aren't they? That's some good kit he's got on there. Step by step, we've got to check the P's and Q's, and with that,
but it's a whole, Bev.
All you've got to go off really is 1 degree for 69 miles. 69 miles times 360 gives you 3953.
Yes, but that could be another modus tollens, couldn't it?
Mm.
In that if the Earth is a sphere, radius 39,
53.
59, then the circumference is so and so, and therefore each degree would be 69 miles.
Mm-hmm.
Not each degree 69 miles, then it's not a sphere, circumference, whatever.
What?
That's the whole point. You don't break down one individual step. That is a statement. If it's this, then this must hold true.
Okay.
If that doesn't hold true, then not this.
Yeah. So
you don't need to test this at first.
So it could be anything. That number there at the beginning could be anything for you.
It could be anything. Yeah.
Could be anything. Does that sound logical?
I mean, that's the case. You with your P
Somebody
can be
just
anything.
pulled
That's
a
the thing.
number out of the ether and placed it into a P in a modus tollens argument.
Yeah.
You're not interested in where that number came from at all. It could be anything. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the point, and it's like it could be anything. So I'm about now to point out that if you start off with 3959 and somebody goes, well, 3958, then they could just go, aha. If the Earth has a spherical object, of 3958, and then carry on like that sort of stuff. And it's a never-ending loop. If you can have P as anything, then you could have any argument you want. That's the whole idea of the law of identity.
Yeah, to avoid circular arguments that go on forever, because you want to conclude something, like definitely conclude something, so you can't do that.
So I asked him, where's he get R from? He doesn't know, right? I'll ask him in a bit, right? So the idea of me checking over the P's and the Q's of the black swan, which I said I have a problem with, is this part of the thing, right? Where did they get R from? I don't know. They don't know where they get R from, and that's the idea. He can have P as anything, so he's violating the law of identity by saying you could just have the radius as anything. Doesn't matter to him. Mr. Logic Man.
You're trying to identify by use of the modus tollens.
But that's if the identifier of P is P, then you have to stick with P being that. P is P. You can't then go, well, you could have P as being something else if you wanted to.
It's whatever you want to test. It's whatever you want to test.
Right, yeah.
Isn't it?
Within this argument then, is that what you think QE's testing, whether it could be 3959?
He believes... His modus tollens is basically trying to demonstrate that if the Earth is a sphere that size, then your horizon should always appear at this point. The horizon doesn't always appear at this point, therefore it's not a sphere of that size.
Yeah.
That's all that modus tollens would show, which is why when I had that debate with Mitchell from Australia on Fight the Flat Earth that I am constantly misquoted and cherry-picked from, I said at best, because if his modus tollens was correct, which it wasn't, but if his modus tollens was correct, then at best he had disproved that radius, the 3959. It could be 3960 or 3958.
53.
That's all he would have proved.
Yeah.
Not proven. All he would have shown. And,
yeah, but then after you say that...
They don't follow English and they don't follow the logic of that statement.
Okay, well, could he then say,
Who?
If the Earth is a sphere of radius, whatever you say it should be, and then come back at you with the same argument?
Sorry, I'm not sure you follow. You're saying could he then just reconstruct it with a radius of 3960 and go through the... Yeah, well, potentially he could. He could keep doing that. Although, I think with that black swan imagery, he was... basically showing it wasn't just not at 1.22 times the square root of the observer's height in feet, but way more. I think he was basically trying to show. Sorry?
That's the cues. So we'll deal with the cues in a bit.
Yeah, but I think that having followed that modus tollens through, he was trying to demonstrate that it's not just not 3959, but it is absolutely nowhere near. Therefore, that whole radius thing is a load of crap. I think that's what he was trying to show. But the point is, the black swan doesn't show anything of the sort, because we got the refraction of the highest order, which means that the observation was a load of shite anyway.
Yeah, it's not about the observation, is it?
Well, tell that to Oakley and that. This photo destroys the globe Earth.
Well,
it's the #1 globe killer.
Yeah,
well,
again,
not.
like, that's one of the problems. Like, that's the logic is completely separate, right? Because that's what they say, the black swan. Now, have you associated that black swan with the picture? Or have you associated it with the logic?
They are using a modus tollens and that image supposedly to debunk the Earth being a globe.
Yeah. I'm not so sure that's correct. Like I say, I'm pretty sure the black swan is for the person to find, right? Go and find your black swan. Right? Here's the framework for you to find that yourself. That's what I consider.
How are you saying that? Because they gave a modus tollens statement with the 3959 and a horizon distance, and they're saying if not that horizon distance, then not 3959 radius.
Okay, well, like we say, you've already said we can put the beginning one, any number we want there at the beginning.
Any number, any object, anything. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Now, within the second part, then, right, as a consequent, right, of the Earth being a sphere of that size, right, a consequent of that is that every horizon distance measurement, right? How many of those have you ever seen?
Sorry, what do you mean?
A horizon distance measurement.
Well, you can't measure it just looking at a photo anyway. The only interesting thing about the black swan is there were specific objects in the photo at known distances.
Right. How good's that? He said you can't measure the horizon, but that photo, there are known objects in the distance. So he knows that the oil rigs are the things that you gain the black swan from, right? Mm-hmm. You from seeing that because of the black swan that QE has given them with the numbers from their thing, he's wrote down then every horizon measurement distance. Right, that's what I'm about to have a go at now, which we'll come back to later on. But yeah, so listen to this now, because he's getting mixed up. I think he thinks that the black swan that we're going over is from QE and Nathan Oakley. Like, it hasn't got anything to do with him. It's purely just based on this other thing. Like, listen to it, see what you think.
And because the known distance of that platform habitat was way beyond the geometric horizon calculated distance, they took that and then said, aha, therefore it's not a sphere.
Okay. So
because
the distance.
Yeah, sorry, go on.
It says every horizon distance measurement. I mean, how do you measure the distance to the horizon?
Well, they believed that looking at that photo gave them a measurement.
How would you check it, though? I mean, like, this is a logical argument.
It's not up to me to check it, is it?
Yeah, you're Mr. I'm not making.
No, hold on. I haven't made any claims. It's not my black swan theory that they're saying. If, as you globies say, the radius is this, therefore the horizon must be that, and I've got a photo that shows a horizon that's way beyond, therefore it's not a globe. That's their whole shtick, and it's a load of crap. Because
see that logical argument breakdown. You want to listen to why, right? He thinks that logical modus tollens is a load of crap.
We know that you only see the apparent horizon, not the geometric horizon, because we live in an atmosphere. Therefore, you always have refraction, and so that moves the horizon. We've seen that. Kyle Adams yesterday was showing it. What was it? Skunk Bay film with everything moving up and down, time lapse showing across the bay. That was lovely to show how you get distortion because of refraction. And in BS's video, he even says this is how the platform normally appears, but on very rare occasions it sometimes appears like this. Therefore, he has cherry-picked, or actually he didn't make much of it, but everyone else, Oakley et al., have cherry-picked that one rare occasion when you can see so much further because you've got extreme refraction, and then said, aha, therefore it can't be a sphere. And that's why it's a load of shit. And they seem to genuinely think they've proven something. Well, all they've proven is refraction can be a bitch. Refraction can distort like a bugger.
So you would agree with us then that they've got a problem with the Q, that every horizon distance measurement can't be done. There's no such thing. Like there's no such thing as every horizon distance measurement.
Well, what they've done is
there
they've
isn't
taken
one horizon distance measurement.
They've taken the geometric radius of the Earth. Earth is a physical object.
Oh,
they've
just took the sphere of radius.
They've taken the geometric.
If at the beginning.
Sorry.
The if at the beginning.
Yes, I know there's an if at the beginning. But what they've done is they've taken that if with that potential radius of a sphere, and then from that calculated the geometric distance to the horizon, which would be a consequent of a sphere of that size. But then they're looking at it optically. That's not the same thing. They have not measured the geometric distance. They've taken a calculated geometric distance, look at a photo and say, aha, that's not that geometric distance. Well, no, of course it's not that geometric distance. It's a refracted image. So they had taken no measurement at all.
That's what I mean. Right, so they've taken no measurement at all. He knows there's no measurements been taken, even though that's the first part of the Q. Every horizon distance measurement. He knows. You can't do it. I've been saying that all along.
He was a little weird in the beginning. It's like he took that on as a truth, only to then turn around and defend against it, while he started off saying you can't measure the distance to the horizon anyway, so it's a moot point.
Yeah. And you get the thing that he thinks that it's just Nathan Oakley's and QE's. Like, it's not as if it's a logical statement that's put up there for everyone to, mull over and, come up with. It's meant to be a discussion. This, the logical argument is a statement put up for discussion. I mean, the discussion, it seems like he's gone to the refraction, which is like one of the worst mistakes. Like, that picture is BMSLB's Black Swan for the logical statement that QE's made. It's not even QE's picture. It's an example of a Black Swan. Now, once you personally have got your own Black Swan, then is it a Black Swan? It just goes on to being the White Swan again. It's, like, once you've seen it, the Black Swan isn't a Black Swan. And that's what it's all about. But it seems like he's completely put that in this particular modus tollens is with the flat earthers, right? It's only there for him to debunk. And he seems to have missed the fact that you cannot measure a horizon. Nobody said that to QE, did they? I've never heard anybody say to QE, hey, QE, this black swan of yours is like, how do you measure the distance to the horizon? Nobody's bothered saying that before. But Mr. Sensible's admitted it. You can't. Can't be done. No such thing.
Yeah. Well, that's all right.
It says...
Job done, pal. Job done.
It says that every horizon distance measurement...
We may disagree on everything else,
There's
Bev, but... Sorry?
There's no such thing as a horizon distance measurement. And that, as he says, all of those numbers came from the curve calculators.
Well, they will be estimates, won't there? There'll be estimates, based on standard refraction and stuff like that.
I don't know. It's just estimates based on standard refraction. Like, what are estimates? The horizon distance measurements that you can't have. They're just estimates.
Or the calculations within the calculator itself are those
just estimates, yeah. Like, where do you get the numbers from for either? Like, how do you... Like, are you gaining the radius from the estimates of the horizon distance measurements that you can't get? Or are you calculating them from a radius, and where did that come from? Well, nobody knows. These are the problems that we have with the Black Swan. I'm not so sure whether he understood when I went over there, but yeah, I have problems. They are, where the fuck did the numbers come from? Mr. Sensible doesn't seem to understand. Consequent of that model. So everything that he got from the curve calculators came from the model that he gave you at the beginning. That thing just says, basically, if your model is your model, then you would have this as a geometric horizon distance measurement.
As a geometric one, yes.
But you can't
measure it. Did they measure it geometrically? No, they didn't measure it geometrically. No. They looked through the bottom of beer glasses at a distorted image and then said, aha, well, that's not what the geometric distance... Well, no, of course not, because you're not looking at it without an atmosphere. You're not looking at the geometric horizon. So, of course, it's not the same.
You're not looking at it without an atmosphere. He did just say that, didn't he?
Yeah, I must have gotten that from Nathan. He's the only one I've ever heard say that.
That's crazy. Like, that's an anti-argument that's been given to him. To somebody, like... I don't know.
As the geometric horizon. Therefore, you've proved nothing. That was my whole point with Mitch. When I said, if everything you said was correct, if that is, then at best you would have disproved that 3959. But everything he said wasn't correct, therefore he didn't disprove it. And even if he had, it would just could be slightly different. So this is it. I don't know why they keep wasting their time. They got their knickers all moist about a load of nothing.
Right, I'm going to go over that again, right? It seems to be Mr. Sensible's breakdown of... Like, he's obviously still affected. Can you remember when he did the Mitchell of Australia thing? Because he said, at best, that you've done is to change the size of the radius, which is the whole point of the Black Swan. Right? It starts off with one... We'll get there in a bit. But listen to how succinct he is.
If everything you said was correct, if that is, then at best you would have disproved that 3959. But everything he said wasn't correct, therefore he didn't disprove it. And even if he had, it would just could be slightly different. So this is it. I don't know why they keep wasting their time. They got...
Do you see that again? Like, breakdown of the Black Swan, and listen to his excuse. Right, what happens if because he said at best if, and then he said he hadn't. Listen out.
Not looking at it without an atmosphere. You're not looking at the geometric horizon. So of course it's not the same as the geometric horizon. Therefore you've proved nothing. That was my whole point with Mitch when I said, if everything you said was correct, if that is, then at best you would have disproved that 3959. But everything he said wasn't correct, therefore he didn't disprove it. And even if he had, it would just could be slightly different. So,
and even if he had, it could just be slightly different. But he hadn't. But if he had, he didn't. But if he had done, it could have just have been a little bit different. Is that living in the middle of the included middle? Like, statement, yes, no, well, somewhere in the middle, but it could be, but it isn't. Sounds like he's confused to me.
Yeah, he sounds confused there, because he should be picking up on the fact that the P and the Q are both really badly stated, right? Instead, he's trying to defend some sort of position in regards to the picture that's been presented also, which he's the logic guy. It's the logic you're talking about, as far as I can see, right? But he's not talking about the logic specifically, or at least he's trying to sort of talk himself into understanding what is going on. That's
model blind or argument blind, right? He wants to know where he's going, or he already thinks he knows where he's going with the black swan. And it appears to me that he's missed a few glaring errors within an argument.
It seems to me like he hasn't thought about the argument on that level, other than to conflate it with the image and talk about it from that angle, which everybody else does.
Yeah, the refraction argument.
Yeah. And that's missing the point of the thing completely.
Yeah. It's missing the whole geometric idea of the Modus tollens, right? The idea of you putting geometry within an argument is to make it definitive, right? That makes it valid and sound.
Yeah.
It's just a model that they've got to try and replicate. So, I mean, the actual logic sound, right? It works. It's just the way it's been put together and the way people have been allowed to take the argument away from where the argument is. Right.
This is it. I don't know why they keep wasting their time. They got their knickers all moist about a load of nothing.
And the end statement as well. It says the Earth is not a sphere. Well, no, because the if at the beginning is if the Earth is a sphere with a radius of 3959, right? So that end statement should be, then the Earth is not a sphere of radius 3959. But you've already said at the beginning, you could have put any number there anyway.
Yes, but that, I mean, that's fine. The first part of that Modus tollens was okay. You know, if, and I'm testing.
Did he get a lump in his throat then? Because I said, listen to him again. Then the Earth is not a sphere of radius 3959. But you've already said at the beginning, you could have put any number there anyway.
Yes, but that, I mean, that's fine. The first part of that Modus tollens was okay. You know.
Is that oh shit! I'll do that again. I'm sorry, Mr. Sensible, but because he's exactly, and then. But you've already said at the beginning, you could have put any number there anyway.
Yes, but that, I mean, that's fine. The first part of that Modus tollens was okay. You know, if, and I'm testing, it's a sphere radius 3959, then this must hold true. This apparently doesn't hold true. Therefore, it is not a sphere radius 3959. That would be a correct statement. The problem is they didn't actually test that statement. They looked at something else. That's like saying. Well, I'm trying to think of another example. If I stick my fingers into that socket and there is electric in there, I'll get a shock. Well, I stuck my fingers into a bowl of water in the sink. I didn't get electric shock, therefore that socket. No, that's something totally different. What's this bowl of water?
What was that?
Oh, he's confused. I don't know what he's on
Like,
about now.
what happened to him there? Right? I just told him that we went through the Modus tollens of it, and then told him that he agreed that you could just have any number there at the beginning anyway, so the whole Modus tollens is a bit useless. And now, let's see, like his analogy is brilliant.
Into that socket, and there is electric. Well, I'm trying to think of another example.
Go on, this is brilliant.
If I stick my fingers into that socket and there is electric in there, I'll get a shock. Well, I stuck my fingers into a bowl of water in the sink. I didn't get electric shock, therefore that socket. No, that's something totally different. What's this bowl of water in the sink got to do with it? Nothing. There's the socket. You didn't stick your fingers in it. They didn't measure the geometric horizon, therefore they can't say it doesn't match the predicted geometric horizon.
Right, so he's trying to put it on QE and Nathan for not measuring the geometric horizon, when he's already said that you can't measure the geometric horizon. What I mean, what's going on with him? That's not a fail for Nathan and QE. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's his own fail for not just recognizing what he himself has said. You can't do that. It's impossible to measure the distance to the horizon. It's over. You don't have to go and defend anything after that. Just say that. It's over.
Yeah. Yeah, he could have just said that at the beginning to QE and Nathan and gone, see? Can't be done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't think it's ever come across them this before, because it's not something that they've ever thought of. Maybe. Who knows?
Load of crap.
You can't measure a horizon distance measurement, can you?
Well, if you had,
there's no such thing.
Well, not in an atmosphere like that. No.
So now he's just admitted they can't even do it. So he's calling them for making a Modus tollens and then saying that they haven't done what it is. He's confused. He's really confused. Now he's back to the no atmosphere.
If you were...
Why did you not notice that?
What?
Why did you not notice that within that logical statement?
Well, I did. Oh. I said if everything you said was correct, to Mitch this is, when he was doing this Modus tollens, because everything he said was not correct. Because he was talking about a geometric horizon, they did not measure the geometric horizon.
Yeah, you could have just easily said you cannot measure the distance to the horizon.
Well, you could have done, but also I didn't need to. I mean, and the statement, because he was saying it.
He didn't need to. He could have done, but he didn't need to because
he didn't think about it.
Yeah, you didn't think about it. Yeah, you could have just easily said you cannot measure the distance to the horizon. Look.
Well, you could have done, but also I didn't need to. I mean, and the statement, because he was saying it would disprove it being a globe. No, if everything of that had held true, it would have disproved it being a globe with a radius of 3959. Not, as I actually said at the time, the rest of my sentence when I was speaking to them, I said not that it's not a globe. It would still be a globe, but perhaps with a slightly different radius.
Yeah. You give up your radius value.
Yeah, and so they said,
Yeah. Well, I did that at the beginning anyway. I mean, who cares? It's not my radius value. I don't know how we got it anyway. Who cares?
Well, that's crazy if you're a glober, because you had the choice there at that moment to just say, no, you can't measure the distance to the horizon. I'm going to keep my radius, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Said, no, I'm going to waiver my radius and just go with it. Why?
Yeah. It's because the model's nothing. Right? It's all about the argument. Model afflicted people don't care about the model. It doesn't really mean that much to them. It's because it's a mental concept. It gets better, I think.
He's denied R. No, I just said, if everything you said was correct, then R might be slightly different. And they don't get it. They do not get it. I mean, they could not. I mean, they kept doing that cherry pick misquote, and I got so pissed off about it. Not pissed off as in upset and angry, but pissed off that people could so blatantly misrepresent. Okay, that I offered a challenge, £100 if anyone, and I gave the whole clip where he gave his modus tollens and I gave my answer.
Still affected by
the whole
this,
clip, and I said, "Go on, show me where I said the Earth's not a globe." And not one person was able to do it. Of course, because I didn't say that.
Sleeping Warrior did it.
Yeah.
Or at least he told us he did it.
Like, disproving the radius. Yes. That's where the mix-up comes, because it QE ends.
Well, there's no mix-up. You can obviously understand that, Bev. You obviously understand what I'm saying. I understood what I was saying. Everyone else seemed to understand what I was saying. But Oakley, Mitch, and those others either are too dumb to understand a little bit of English, or are just too dumb to understand the concept of that modus tollens, because that modus tollens would either confirm that the Earth could be a sphere radius 3959, or it would negate the possibility of it being a sphere 3959. Not that it's not a sphere.
Yeah.
So
I don't think we disagree here, Bev.
It does say at the bottom of...
Do you like the modus tollens?
It does say at the bottom of QE's, therefore the Earth is not a sphere. Right, that's one of the biggest problems with it, and like what he's got there. It doesn't say, so the Earth is not a sphere of radius 3959. Right? It's really badly wrote within that last final statement, and that's what he's now playing on. He's, the QE's give him that out now, that he can say, well, I didn't say it's not a sphere. I said at best you've changed the radius, which he gave up right at the beginning anyway. and yeah, I know for a fact that when that was going on, Sleeping Warrior sent him something, who knows what it was, to counter what he was saying. But it's all based around the final statement of the QE's Black Swan. Therefore the Earth is not a sphere, where it should read, therefore the Earth is not a sphere of radius 3959. Which he did give up. He gave up his radius at the beginning of this and on the Mitchell one. Go on.
No, go on.
You're right. We can carry on then.
Yeah. So, do you know, like the logical idea of formulating a modus tollens?
Yeah, but it's got to be used. That sort of thing's got to be used in the right place, hasn't it? And constructed properly, and sort of understood what the result would mean.
There's mutterings at the minute within the community of this new logic, fuzzy logic.
Fuzzy logic's something. I mean, I know nothing really about fuzzy logic, but fuzzy logic's something that's been around a long time. It started to be used in computing with artificial intelligence back in the late 80s. I wasn't involved with it, but in my company there were people who were starting to use that fuzzy logic.
Yeah. Right. Take note, people. Fuzzy logic. It's as you would imagine. It's a bit blurred. It's not as clear as the other stuff. That's why I asked him, though, right? Because of from what we're hearing and what's coming. Keep an eye out. There's some interesting happenings afoot.
Yeah, he's pretty new. But so the modus tollens, you denied a consequent, right? That's the idea of formulating it. It's a falsification.
Yeah, it's a fancy way of as you say, formulating something. Is this a ball? Well, if it's got corners, it's not a ball. Oh, I found a corner, therefore it's not a ball. Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Oh my.
You see that? That's the idea of formulating it. It's a falsification.
Yeah, it's a fancy way of, as you say, formulating something. Is this a ball? Well, if it's got corners, it's not a ball. Oh, I found a corner, therefore it's not a ball. Yeah, great.
Yeah.
It has its place. It's not going.
Is this a ball? If it is a ball, it won't have corners. It's got corners.
To solve.
At this point, I think it must be in my head now to go, ask him about the logic, will you? Go on.
Of everything, but it has its place.
No, but that you still go along with the concept of that old classic logic, Aristotelian logic.
Well, did I see that this afternoon you had Bebby? He's that logic guy, isn't he?
Ooh.
Like, what? Like, I didn't even bring it up, right? Asking him about Aristotelian logic. Yeah, well, I didn't. We didn't have him on. It was an old recording. That was just.
Right. I see.
Yeah.
But yeah. If you want to talk about stuff like that, he's probably the person to talk to. I've not studied logic.
Oh, Mr. Logic and Cheese. I didn't even have to ask him. He's brought up Betty, and the moment he's heard of Betty, he feels inferior. Mr. Logic and Cheese is shriveled at the thought of Betty. It just goes to show as well, Mr. Sensible was watching our pre-show recording that we put out of Mr. Sensible and Betty talking about logic. So thank you very much, Mr. Sensible. I'll have to go back over that again just so people can get the full grasp of what Mr. Sensible's saying here.
Yeah. If you want to talk about stuff like that, he's probably the person to talk to. I've not studied logic like that.
So but you are Mr. Logic and Cheese. That logic's not computer logic, is it? You're talking like logic for the common man, because that's what we're after.
Well, to be honest, that's probably a fair way of putting it, Bev. Because it's common sense, using common sense. I mean, it's a joke tagline, isn't it? I'm not claiming, hey, I'm.
It's a joke tagline.
Ooh, he's saying that about himself. His own tagline.
Yeah.
Well, to be honest, that's probably a fair way of putting it, Bev. Because it's common sense, using common sense. I mean, it's a joke tagline, isn't it?
It's a joke tagline, isn't it? Logic and Cheese with Mr. Sensible.
I'm not claiming, hey, I'm a doctor of logic or a professor.
No, we're not saying that either. We're trying to bring logic to people to get a little bit of a grasp of how to formulate thoughts and things in order to put statements together that make a good argument, right? It makes you a better debater. If you can formulate questions and formulate logic and statements that actually mean something faster, then you are better at the conversation. It's a win-win situation. Learning logic within the debate process, within the bit that we're in, definitely worth it. Doesn't seem like Mr. Sensible seems to get the benefits of it, though.
I'd say it is worth it, definitely, and it's also not as tricky and difficult as it may sound like, because there are words and stuff that you haven't necessarily heard widely used before when you get into it, but it sounds more tricky than it is. Like, you went over the 4 or the 3 basic laws of how do we phrase it? Yeah, you went over the law of identity, the law of non-contradiction, and the law for the excluded middle. Like, those 3 concepts, like especially those 3 concepts, are not hard to understand, but they lay at the core of this whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah, and like we said, the first principles of this idea is if you can lay a solid base on which you form an argument on, and you can then start to formulate proofs for yourself, then you only grow. Like, you can only get stronger and better. And like Saragaki says, at first this may sound like we're speaking a different language. It may seem like when you see it, you hear in words and stuff you've never heard before, but they're only common within this. We try and keep it as simple as possible, and like you say, if you want to come and get involved in it, the best place to do it is within the Discord server. There's no heat on anybody within this, but it's a learning process. And we're all learning, me included. And we can all learn from anybody. I learn from all of the conversations I ever have with people. There's always something to pick up. And because this is advanced simplicity, then it seems that the simpler you make it, the more you can understand. And the stronger that base becomes. Carry on. It's not much logic going on here from Mr. Sensible, though.
Sort of logic or something like that. No, but I can follow some logic, like that Modus tollens. Unfortunately, those guys who tried employing it with the whole Black Swan BS couldn't even understand what they were. What's the word? The weapon they were wielding. They didn't understand it.
No. Ooh, they didn't understand the weapon they were wielding. I'd have to go along with that, right? Logic's pretty powerful.
But don't you need to understand logic to know that someone else doesn't understand it? Because he just said he doesn't really. Logic really not his thing. It's kind of like just, he's a joke title. So maybe they are doing it right for all he knows.
Yeah.
That's why he did think they were doing it right.
He has to think that they're not doing it right. Right? Otherwise, it stands as the Modus tollens that it is. Right? He has to look at it from some other way. He's got no choice. Got no choice to say that they've done it wrong. It's a nice smug face as well.
Definitely not. Well, it's nice to agree with you, Bev, anyway.
Well, logic's so common. Like, the idea is that that's the idea of t-shirt logic, what we're doing. Like, we just try and simplify stuff from reality, obviously, because logic has a tie in reality. Right, there's a close relationship between reality and logic. You can't really do logic. You do it as a thought process, but you do it within the realms of reality. Like, you're never going to end up with a proof if you don't base reality within that logical statement, right? That's the way I look at it.
You can certainly use it to cut away a lot of the crap to try and leave you with what is true.
Yeah, give you a more clarity of thought, right? It's a process that I don't think a lot of people employ nowadays. There's a lot of hard to say, like automaton type things, but a lot of people don't actually think about what they're doing. And they just sort of go with the flow without realising.
I think a lot of people go with their really strong bias. I think that's part of why I chose that as a tagline. A lot of these flat earthers, not all of them, but a lot of them, it's religious based. So they'll come up with some possible explanation for the shape of the earth or the universe or the dome or whatever the hell, based on their interpretation of their religion. and they've used that as a basis. That's not logical, you know.
What? He chose logic as a tagline because there's a lot of flat earthers that are religious, and being religious isn't logical. Isn't that strange? To base an argument, I'm guessing. Like, I've never really got into the religion part of this debate or anything like that. But it seems like there's a lot of people that they pile all sorts of things together, don't they? They lump people together into big groups that then they can just swap from one to the other. I don't know whether you call that bigotry or not. He specifically chose logic that's a sort of a joke tagline, but he used it because of the religious people and religion not being logical. Now, I don't think he's actually looked into it at all. Sorry to say.
You have to look at evidence.
Well, I mean, religion isn't really logic, although...
No,
I mean,
I've no idea if you're a religious person or not. I've no idea if you're a religious person or not, Bev, and that's not my aim. My aim is not to knock religion per se. I am not a religious person. I am atheist, but I have no problem with people being religious and having a faith. But I have a problem with people ignoring actual evidence, basically denying what their own eyes tell them.
He just said he's atheist and he's got no problem with people being religious.
But...
So, know whether his atheism is his religion. Like,
yeah,
I think so.
I would say so anyway.
Yeah, he seemed to wield it as though it was like a religion. It sounded like it to me. Here's my religion. I'm not bothered if other people have other religions.
Right.
Yeah, that's very, very accepting of his religion.
Just that they can follow a religion or follow some other biased belief that they're basing their channel on or whatever without evidence.
Do you have proofs?
I'm sorry, say again.
Do you hold proofs? Do you have
evidence is science doesn't deal in proof, does it?
Yeah, so, but reality deals in proofs. Logic deals in proofs.
Logic may do.
Like I say, like logic
with a modus
and
tollens, with that modus tollens, if it was constructed properly, you said not Q, therefore not P. Therefore, you have proved that P is not.
Yeah, we've been working on one. I'll give it you later. Emma voiced it. Right. So did he just say then that modus tollens has proved that not P?
He did, yeah.
Yeah.
I heard it that way, yeah.
And he said if it was constructed properly. Really weird that he said that, isn't it? Like, as if he knows how to construct it properly.
Yeah, right.
Like, it would be interesting. Yeah, he's the logic guy. Joke logic, of course. For us. Modus tollens.
Okay. Concerning what?
Concerning just the modus tollens. A
modus tollens about modus tollens.
Well, a modus tollens.
I wonder if you could construct a modus.
Here we go. Listen to this. Just a modus tollens.
A modus tollens about modus tollens.
Well, a modus tollens.
I wonder if you could construct.
Good afternoon.
Who's that, Rob? Yo, Rob. Listen to this.
Look how happy he gets when he comes up with this.
Yeah. This is genius, isn't it? Well, a
That'd be
modus
good. I wonder if
tollens
you
are
could construct a
about-
modus tollens. I wonder if you could construct a modus tollens to disprove that a modus tollens could work.
I doubt it.
That would be an There's a challenge for you, Bev, a friendly challenge. And I suppose if you manage to do it, would the universe blow up? I don't know.
No. Well, look at that smug face. That's the best modus tollens he's ever done. Best challenge he's ever thought of.
He's so happy with himself.
Yeah. Well done. Points earned. Chink, chink, chink. Globe points. So there are proofs, and you can gain proofs, right? But just the statement of a modus tollens is not proof in itself. Right?
I'm sorry. Say again, Bev. I just chat caught my eye. I'm going to move it out of the way so it doesn't catch my eye. Say that again.
I say the actual statement is not proof in itself, is it? Now, this was go back to the black swan, like the picture that's there. Now, that's not a proof to anybody. Like you can't give somebody a picture as a proof. So,
No, but they think that picture is the with the modus tollens. You've got a claim and what's the word? A claim and a possible negative evidence. If that negative evidence, then the claim is debunked. And they think that negative evidence, that photo, debunks the claim. Sorry, I'm going to have to switch off my aircon. The hamsters are going. It will squeak for a little while. Sorry. Oh,
right.
Stop.
Okay. Well, I forgot where we were. Missy's come in with some fruit.
Fruit?
Yeah. So we were coming. Negative evidence he was talking about. I missed that one. Where were we at? Right, black swan. Right, it's only a proof for the guy that takes the picture. So the quest was to let people know that, you know, if you are after this particular proof of your own, the black swan should be for you to go and find somewhere that you could replicate this, right, for yourself, and then you could find your own black swan. That was the message that I got.
Well, it wasn't the message I got, because the whole point is, if a black swan has been found, then that disproves the statement of all swans are white.
Yeah, it's a personal thing, though. The proof is always
it's not a personal
personal.
thing, is it?
Yeah, you can't mass proof people.
If you said, for instance, all people have two legs, I only have to produce a picture of one person with one leg or no legs, therefore that claim of all persons have two legs is false. And incidentally, it shows on average we've got less than two legs. It does.
Yeah, but what if, like, somebody knows somebody that has only got one leg?
Exactly.
You know,
exactly.
like
okay, they happen to have found another black swan.
Yeah, well, they have, right? They've got their black swan. You haven't got it.
But they don't need it. They don't need it. If I produce that photo, you may know someone else with one leg, but if I show that photo on here, then everybody can see that that's a black swan. Therefore, not everyone, even if they don't know anyone with one or no legs, they've seen a photo, therefore they now know that not everybody has two legs.
Right, what do you think of that? As another one of his, I don't know, can we call them analogies?
Yeah, I actually agree with that analogy, though.
What, that you could have say that somebody's got one leg.
Picture of a dude with one leg. Yeah, but then how do you verify the picture is my next question. Like, how do you know that wasn't just a Photoshop picture of somebody with their foot or leg rubbed out?
Yeah, I mean, that's you just being pedantic, isn't it? Because saying that somebody hasn't got one leg is ridiculous. You know, like, it's a really bad analogy.
But I do agree with his analogy.
Yeah. In order to simplify the idea of what we're talking about, then yeah, I mean, definitely works.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
Yeah, he seems to be missing the point that you have to find this for yourself. Otherwise, you end up taking somebody's word for it. Or in this case, a picture for it.
Yeah, well,
Just
that's what he said, didn't he? He came
Yeah.
back with that. I could get you a picture, and that would be good enough for you, wouldn't it?
Do you think I could just quickly jump off topic for a second because Saragaki's here? Sorry. I got the Saragaki special, but I don't understand the circles.
Oh, the T-shirt, you mean?
Yeah, I got that one.
It's from one of DP's other designs. It's the geometrically balanced design.
Okay. Because I had to explain the whole thing to my wife, and then when she asked about the circles, I was like, I don't know, actually, no, that's the Saragaki thing.
You like the design?
Yeah, I liked it. Yeah. Shout out to DP, thank you. That's all. I just had to jump to that. I just noticed Saragaki was here. I had to ask.
Yeah, no, it's just I just also thought it was really cool to mix that up on the back with logic on the front.
Yeah. Great. Thank you. Okay, I'll go on mute again.
I was making the point about the picture, right? You end up having to trust the authority of the source of the picture. So you're appealing to authority when you're trusting a picture. Nothing more, nothing less.
That's what I was hoping to get through at the beginning. Like the black swan is the personal part of this thing. That's what you have to go and get for yourself. The only way you can have this as being a black swan that's yours is for you to go and get it. And he's just turned it round and gone, but I can give you a picture of this. Which I don't know whether that's the idea or that's what was meant to be happening or not.
No, you wanted to establish at the beginning that it wasn't about the picture, but he was on the picture the entire conversation, it seemed to me, almost.
Yeah, that was the idea of my main problem about this being called a black swan is the black swan is the personal part, and it's never been expressed. The black swan's up to you to go and get it. That's your part of it. And if that had been made clear, I think this would be a completely different conversation that we'd be having. Like the black swan is yours to go and get. Go and find it. We can point people can help you find places that you can go and do that at. You could, but they are things for you to go and find for yourself. And yeah, he completely missed that. Like I say, the idea of the proof to me, it's a personal thing. You can't hand that proof to anybody. Like gaining a proof is a journey that you go on, right?
But the point is, Bev, that photo of a person with one leg is an evidence. But that evidence, had you constructed the modus tollens about everyone with two legs, disproves that claim of everyone has two legs. Job done.
Yeah, but in the case, let's go with QE's black swan, right? Yeah. If the Earth is this shape, and then we should only be able to see that far, right? And I could go to the beach, and I could look over, and I could see an oil rig.
Yeah, you could.
With the horizon past that.
Yeah.
Right, then I could go, well, there's a black swan. Black swan. Like we did. I've got that.
You could.
Yeah, and DP could do it as well.
Every single person could go and try it, yeah.
So therefore they've got their own black swan for that.
But they don't need it.
They don't need it.
They don't need it. I only have to pull up the photo of a person with one leg. I have shown to everyone. They could go and test it themselves.
Like, what is he saying?
You don't get it, Bev. I have appealed to authority. Thank you very much. Yeah. Don't you get it?
What he's saying, like QE's that picture that QE gave everyone, that's enough.
Yeah.
Right? Like he's sort of. I don't get what he's arguing for. He's like he has to argue against something that I don't think he even understands what he's arguing for. against or whatever.
No, that's why it felt so weird earlier, because he felt like he took on the position of defending their modus tollens when he is in the business of saying that it doesn't work out logically, you know. So
and now he's saying that the picture works. You can just literally tag a picture onto a modus tollens and everyone can have it.
Walmart proof, we call it.
Yeah, I don't call that proof for anybody listening.
No, again, I called it an appeal to authority, not a proof.
Yeah.
Make that clear.
Absolutely. But not everybody has to test it. I mean, you think of every scientific test that takes place. Other scientists may try and get those same results, or even try deliberately to see if they can not get those same results. But you don't have to. You can, the evidence is there.
Yeah. Well, that's the idea of the black swan. That's why I think, it's been sold to people wrongly, or because, I don't know, people had jumped on the picture or whatever. Whether QE was trying to tell people, like, go and find your own black swan.
I don't think so at all, Bev. I think he and the others were saying, aha, we have disproven the globe.
You not think you guys have built a straw man around what you think QE might have said? From this sort of like, heavy bias that you might have?
Well, no, because they said it's the #1 globe killer. I'd say that was quite a claim.
Yeah, because you just said it alters the radius, quite rightly, right? All you have to do is alter the radius.
Hold on.
Whatever.
If everything they said was correct,
yeah,
and it wasn't, but they were using. The only reason I was discussing it with Mitch, I mean, it wasn't the first discussion. Other people had discussed it with QE and the others. That just came up. That was Mitch's evidence for a flat Earth. So he was claiming that showed the Earth was flat. It does nothing of the sort. Even if it disproved Earth being a sphere at all, it doesn't prove it being flat. So they all they ever do is try and attack the globe. Fair enough, they're allowed to, but they never actually provide positive evidence for it being flat.
Yeah,
but
right.
in this case, it was a load of shite.
You also know that your model's an oblate spheroid, right?
Yes.
So it doesn't have one radius, does it?
Well, no. But
so,
you do
there's
know
another quick get out. Woof. It's not just got that one radius.
Yeah, but the difference is I think is only 13 miles, so 26-mile diameter difference, something of that order. It's not a lot.
And
if you scaled the Earth down to a snooker ball size,
there we go.
Earth would be a damn sight smoother than a snooker ball as well.
Yeah. So I mean, you've all Fight the Flat Earth said it's flatter than a snooker ball. The cue ball is flat when you think of it on their scale. So when they say smooth, they're thinking flat. Always got that little bit of leeway, haven't you? Sorry?
Yeah, more than that, you just asked him, isn't your model oblate spheroid, so it's got several radiuses?
Yeah.
Quick get out, right? And he goes to defend the oblate spheroid. Like, he can just say, yes, that's the model, and yes, that is correct. That's a quick get out. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't actually think of that one. If the Earth is a radius of... no, it isn't.
Yeah. That's simple, literally.
Yeah. Then you don't have to defend the radius being altered at all.
I don't get why you had to just wave that away instantly and go along with the argument. When you can, like you rightfully say, you can just say, no, it isn't. At the beginning.
Within that argument, because you've got, like you said, 13 miles anyway.
Oh, I see. You say, well, it's not the 39.59. Whereabouts you measure it? Yes, you could, but I suppose it would be fair enough to say 39.59 average. And the point is, with that 1.2.
See, he's going for an average. The mean,
You gotta play
the
ball,
mean
you know?
radius. A mean radius, and I think he says he doesn't know how to measure it either now. It's good.
2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet, the difference of a radius of just a handful of miles is not really going to make any difference, especially as
a handful of miles. 13 is a handful of miles. In case you didn't know. You're going to get on that.
their photo apparently blew it out the water, enabling us to see many miles further than we should do.
Yeah.
Because
how did
totally
they get the
don't
radius?
understand. Sorry?
How did they get the radius?
I don't know where they got that from, but that's not the point. The point was they were trying to use logic, and they were using it in a fallacious way, and they didn't understand what their constructed you could that Modus tollens, as I said, could say anything. It could say, as I said, the Earth is made of cheese. It doesn't matter, because the point was, when you operate that Modus tollens, you should either come out having negated the claim or not. And they
what?
They couldn't even understand what the negation of that claim would be. The negation of that claim would be not a sphere radius 3959.
Yeah,
not that it's not a sphere.
You've got a bit of a leeway there, anyway. Like you said.
Yeah, but even leaving aside, I'm happy to leave aside the leeway. The point was, whatever I said. If I said it was Earth with a radius between 3,900 and 4,000, it doesn't matter. The point was, okay, you would then show with a Modus tollens whether it was a radius within that range. If it doesn't appear to be in that range, it still doesn't mean it's not a globe. It just means it's outside that range. So they cannot logic at all. I'm talking about common sense, hold a logically consistent thought in their mind.
I think this is going to have to be gone over like at slower pace, because wow, they can't logic. What?
Meanwhile, you're trying to help him see the logic that lets him easily off the hook for something he has taken on himself by misunderstanding the logic in the first place. It's this whole fuck up that's going on right now.
Yeah. Mr. Logic and Cheese didn't logic the logic. Didn't mind. Nobody minded the P's and Q's at all after Emma said. In fact, that was probably the last thing that Emma was saying to QE when he left, when they were doing the Black Swan. Nobody's done it. Nobody's bothered checking it. I mean, Nathan Oakley's been asking for ages, like, where's your R? Show me R. And very easy within the Black Swan. Mind your P's and Q's. Check P. Ask people, where is it? Are they sure? Is that the number they're going to go with? What are they talking about? Oh, it's an oblate spheroid. How do you know it's an oblate spheroid? Well, we've got some different R's. How did you get those different R's? If you've got multiple different R's, you've got more than one. How did you measure all of those? They don't know. There's literally nothing. No one can give anyone an answer for any of these questions. Mr. Sensible's been given the ounce. They could just say, well, we haven't got a clue. Nobody knows. And that's because they haven't got an answer. There's no law of identity if there's no identity for something. If it's made up in the first place, how can you have an identity for it? It doesn't have one. It's not real. It's being exposed. How would you get the radius, though?
Yeah, but that doesn't matter. The point was the claim. It's the logic. The logic they were trying to use was flawed. The
logic was flawed. Nobody can say why it's flawed. That seems like it's an easy get out to say that the logic's flawed. How? maybe he's flawed because nobody bothered checking the P's and Q's.
Shout out Emma.
Yeah.
But they were trying to negate it with a dodgy photograph, and even if the dodgy photograph did negate the claim, it still didn't negate what they thought they were negating.
Yeah. Like, what's he got mixed up with? Because QE at the bottom of his statement, I think, therefore the Earth is not a sphere, and he missed out the of radius. Well, I think that's what he's like. QE's made a miswording at the end of his logical statement, which he agrees that if he hadn't have done that, everything else stands.
Mr. Sensible agrees with that.
Yeah, he agrees that you can change the radius. It's just that it doesn't prove that it's not a sphere. Well, it's not set up to prove that it's not a sphere, obviously, because of the P. You can only deny the P at the beginning. And it should go without saying that the P at the beginning's got a radius value attached to it.
Well, this is
right at the beginning. The P at the beginning. There we go. If the Earth is a sphere with a radius of 3959, you don't know that that's real anyway. I mean, that's like could you call that begging the question? Right?
No,
is he giving you the model that you don't even know? Right? You haven't got a clue.
It's not begging the question. It's testing a possible claim, isn't it? Like I said, the possible claim could be the Earth. So I'm just mucking around. I'm using a tens machine because of a bad back, and it just needed adjusting. It's testing the validity of a claim. That claim could be anything. It doesn't matter. As I said, it could be all people have two legs. Because if the claim was no person has more than two legs, or if some people had, I don't know.
You got a case with people with one leg. What have you got on?
Nothing. The problem is neither have they. Boom. You walked into that one, pal. Nothing at all. It could be anything. I just tried to pick something at random. Yeah. Well, actually, Bev, I'm quite enjoying this. And can I give you credit for something, Bev? I want to give you credit for not bringing up that bloody level horizontal thing, okay? So thank you for that. Listen, there's a few people in the live waiting room. Are you okay?
Can I give you this thing that I did
this
from
Emma.
Yeah, where
Modus
can I put it?
thing? Oh, I see. You can DM me.
Okay.
Just try that, and then
there we go.
Is it something for me to read out?
A bit of snazzy flipping around. Well, you can just sort of. You don't need to read it out. You can play it. It's
Oh, it's a clip, is it?
Yeah. It'll only go out on the YouTube.
I can get it. I can try. Is it very long?
I don't think I can get it. No, it's about a minute. For you guys.
Okay.
I was watching on Twitch when this was live, and there was no audio on what he was playing. The Emma thing had no audio.
Oh yeah, that's because you were watching me. Weren't you? I've got it set up. I've got the thing set up. So when he plays it,
it's a video, is it?
Well, yeah, it's a video on music and the.
It's
Bust the music. Emma narrating.
Hold on, is it anything going to be copyright?
No. All our own stuff. We don't touch anybody else's stuff.
It will certainly play. Let's see if it will copy it. Let's see if I can get it up here. Hold on.
Try this quick transition. Modus tollens.
Okay, right. Window. Let's just try this then. See if it will go. Oh, it wants to open it. All right. It looks like I'm going to have to download it a second.
Yeah, go on. Download it. I'll play it in the transition.
Yeah. Hold on. That's. Oh bugger! What I want to do is try and drop it onto. Right. Let's try this.
There you go.
Modus tollens is a logical statement set up in such a way that the truth of one statement implies the truth of the second. When the second statement, the consequent, is shown to not be true, then the first statement, the antecedent, must also be untrue. T-shirt logic is a way for these simple logical principles to be broken down for ease of understanding. One such example is the Modus tollens, which has been developed by the logically minded individuals at the Next Level Discord server. If the Earth is a spherical object, P, then the surface of liquid water at rest must curve, Q. A water level is a tool which establishes a horizontal plane of reference, consequently not Q. It is not Q, therefore it cannot be P. Ergo, the Earth cannot be a spherical object.
That was very interesting.
Do you like that?
Well, nice little video. But I'd have to say you've got a mouthful, or Emma had.
All right. That was the first live showing of that. I put it on the for you guys listening on the YouTube. I hope it came across. Yeah, that's a Modus tollens that we sorted out. We managed to get Mr. Sensible to play live on his show. It wasn't, well, you guys in the Discord probably won't have heard it, but hopefully you guys over on the YouTube got to hear that. Because, yeah, I put it on the thing. So, yeah, it's been causing a bit of fuss. We've been having a few people over here. Modus tollens. If the Earth is a spherical object, then the surface of liquid water must curve. A water level, like George, shout out George. The water level is a tool for establishing a horizontal plane of reference, therefore not Q. Not Q, therefore not P. The Earth is not a spherical object. That's the one I think he was aiming for. That's what he was asking for, wasn't he? Keep the logic a little bit simpler. Thank you very much, Lumpy. Yeah, they heard it out on the YouTube. Well, we're going to be fixing that up and getting a bit better. We need everybody. I think everybody can agree. We need to hear Emma's voice much more. All we need is a good mic, and Emma's said that she will be voicing all sorts of other things. So soon we can get Emma a mic. We will be having more of these voiceovers from Emma. And some more of our logic. We'll get Emma voicing T-shirt logic. Put together by the good people at Next Level Discord server. If you want to get involved, pop on over. So let's hear what he said to hearing the simplified Modus tollens.
Well, that was very interesting.
Do you like that?
Well, nice little video. But I'd have to say you've got a mouthful, or Emma has a malformed Modus tollens as well. Because, I mean, that's based on your sort of water level experiment. And the thing seemed to be missing is that the water levels would remain at the same gravitational equipotential. So those levels would follow the curve.
Right.
Oh, see? A water level, as well as establishing a horizontal plane of reference, Mr. Sensible says that they would follow a curve. I mean, I'm not so sure about that.
Yeah, and he uses the word gravitational as in gravity, so that means he superimposed his model upon the Modus tollens argument, which is, of course, begging the question.
Yeah. He said that actual statement is fallacious or it's flawed.
Yeah, what it's missing, he said.
Yeah.
So that you can't use that as a not P.
A horizontal, you can't use it as a not P.
That's the Modus tollens does the not P, the not Q, therefore not P. And a horizontal plane is definitely not Q. Anyway, it's only a basic example of a Modus tollens. I mean, everybody can. It's up for discussion. Everyone can discuss that sort of thing. We'll be putting it out as a better video soon. Paradox you're going to end up in. Perpendicular paradox.
No. As we said before, not all verticals are parallel.
That was about horizontals, and that's the
yes.
other
But
one.
you said the point is
You don't want to get into it, do you?
If you sorry,
he said you don't want to get into it.
No, I don't really want to get into it, but just with regard to
that horizontal paradox. He's stuttering, so I'm just warning him. He doesn't want to get into perpendicular paradox.
No, as we said before, not all verticals are parallel.
That was about horizontals, and that's the
yes.
other
But
one.
you said the point is
you don't want to get into it, do you?
If you sorry.
He said you don't want to get into it.
No, I don't really want to get into it, but just with regard to that as a modus tollens, the point it is a constructed modus tollens, but it's faulty in that not P doesn't show what she's hoping it will show, or you are hoping you and your group are hoping it will show, because
with the not P.
If you imagine you're okay, you've got a water level, like a spirit level, that sort of thing, but if you just used a trough of water a mile long, it will follow the curve of the earth, the surface. So
like a canal.
Yes, like a canal, because it all has the same gravitational equipotential. Yeah. Well, look, should we get a few people? We got a few.
I might clip that entire section. I might have to just do that again. Because he goes, this is his review of the Modus tollens.
Parallel.
That was about horizontals, and that's the
yes.
other
But
one.
you said the point is
you don't want to get into it, do you?
If you sorry.
He said you don't want to get into it.
No, I don't really want to get into it, but just with regard to that as a modus tollens.
Right, so just with regards to Emma and the Mind Your P's and Q's next level Modus tollens, this is his review of it. Why? Here we go.
The point it is a constructed Modus tollens, but it's faulty in that not P doesn't show what she's hoping it will show, or you are hoping you and your group are hoping it will show, because if you imagine you're okay, you've got a water level, like a spirit level, that sort of thing, but if you just used a trough of water a mile long, it will follow the curve of the earth, the surface. So
like a canal.
Yes, like a canal, because it all has the same gravitational equipotential. Yeah. Well, look, should we get a few people? We've got a few people.
That's amazing. Well done, Mr. Sensible. Well done, that man. Anybody else want to have a go at rebutting it? I'm sure George would be up for that. You want a review of the Modus tollens, George?
Here in the waiting room. So, are you up for having a chat? Okay.
Yeah,
I haven't looked, but I'll just see if I've got, because
I'm not too sure how much.
I will read this. I had a super chat from Bjorn Kamitz for 100 Swedish kronor saying, "No need to read this, just glad to hang around for a while." Well, thank you very much, Bjorn. I read it anyway, sir. Appreciate that. Okay, let's give them a little bit of warning, just so they know they might get pulled in. And I'll tell you what, Bev, since you are the guest, I'll let you choose a couple. We'll get a couple of those. Do you see the names above you in the live waiting room?
Yeah,
I don't. Yeah, I don't know any of them. Oh,
Okay.
I know SE. I know SE.
Okay, all right. Well,
my
okay,
man,
if we get
SE.
SE in, then if we get SE in, fair enough. We can do that. I'll pull in Mr. 42. So SE and 42. Does that sound good?
Oh, we teaming up.
Yeah. Well,
Oh,
that's
get,
right.
Yeah,
that's
get,
right.
Get SE in.
Yeah. Well, I have spoken to SE before. Was it on? Well,
Next
it was
Level.
on Next Level, but I'd spoken to him elsewhere as well, and I had no problems with SE, and I hope there'll be it will be the same. No problems again. We're just having a nice chat, and that's cool.
I've heard them do this quite a lot. You know, I've had no problems with them. It's like we're going into a debate setting. It's like you need some kid gloves or something. Like, like Essie's one of the most respectable guys I've ever met. Like, cool. I don't know what he's trying to put across here. It almost seems like other people have told him that he's you know, SE or something. It's bad. There's nothing wrong with SE. SE's brilliant. I can't imagine why they'd think anything like that. But I mean, I think this messes up a bit now. Oh.
Okay, right. Let's bring him in. So we'll bring in Mr. 42. You're on the stream, and SE Montreal. SE Montreal, you're on the stream too. Good evening to both of you.
Hello, are you sure this is a good idea?
Oh no, I'm not sure, 42. It looks like you're next to SE Montreal. I'm next to Bev. Oh, SE Montreal, your guy ran away again, Bev.
Oh.
Not my fault, not my doing.
I think he had trouble getting in here last time, or sometimes.
Is he? Do you know that has been the case with one or two people before
Was
now?
it over here? I think it was over here, wasn't it? I think he kept doing it some other time, yeah.
I don't know. But from time to time, there are some people that
he's
seem to have
on his
have a problem
mobile or
getting-
something, I think.
It could be. He's disappeared. He's disappeared from the waiting room as well.
Maybe he's trying to reconnect.
Yeah, he
I don't know.
It could be. Could be. Either that, Bev, or we scared him off, mate.
Yeah, now this is an unfortunate thing that Discord does. It only seems to do it over there to SE on that one particular channel. So, I mean, this isn't a normal Discord problem that I've known about. Not wanting to, you know, I like to promote Discord because I think Discord's quite good as a system, as a way of doing text and videos and all of that sort of stuff. Just SE seems to have a problem over there on that server with his mobile. Don't know what it is.
No.
Oh, yeah, but Mr.
No. He is not easily scared. That is not true.
So, how are you, 42?
I'm good, thank you very much.
Good. Any thoughts on what Bev was saying?
There's a lot of thoughts, but I'm not sure if I can put that into words right now.
You're allowed to disagree if that's what you're worried about. You're allowed to disagree with Bev.
Yeah, there is some stuff that we can agree on. Hang on, my daughter is being overly active right now. Alessia.
Well, I'll say second best Bob, member for 19 months, free member super chat saying, don't read this. Sorry, second best Bob. I'll try harder next time. Thanks, pal.
What I'm very, very happy about is that we finally figured out. Now I cannot call Bev a flat earther because he will how do you want to be called in a certain way, Bev?
Just call me Bev.
Yeah, but I mean the group.
You're not a Globy.
No.
Bev.
What did Emma call them? Excellent people.
Okay. The excellent people. One of the excellent people now finally can agree that the DP from that you had in that debate before is not what they claimed it was, or how they misrepresent you, Mr. Sensible. So that is a good step. That is a good step.
Yeah. Well, I think we had agreement there, Bev.
Yeah.
That their modus tollens was a load of crap.
It was playing to you guys, I think. It was all your guys' numbers, right? And for you guys to like not. He said the Modus tollens was crap. It's like it's your numbers you're talking about. QE gave you everything from your number. He even went to the book to give you the radius, and he went to the curve calculator to give you everything else. How is it crap? Like, it's crap for us because it's made up from fiction and nobody's understood the logic and all of that. For him to call it crap, I haven't got a clue. I mean, like, unless he's saying that the one, I don't know. Like it. It's obvious because you can't measure a distance to the horizon, and you don't know where R came from.
Well, I think Bev, they really have no idea that they'll grasp at anything. That latest thing being sextant, saying that they can't work on a globe, can only work on a flat Earth. In fact, it's the other way round. And they've had it pointed out to them. Wolfie 6020 offered them quite a lot of.
Did you hear that?
That latest thing being sextant, saying that they can't work on a globe, can only work on a flat Earth. In fact, it's the other way round.
In fact, it's the other way round.
In fact.
Yeah. You've got one group of people saying it has to be a flat Earth in order for it to use a sextant, and the other group saying it's the opposite way round. Has to be a sphere in order for you to use a fucking sextant. Like, when we're just saying it just measures a fucking angle. You can use it anywhere. You can literally measure an angle anywhere.
And they've had it pointed out to them. Wolfie 6020 offered them quite a lot of money to. Wasn't it Wolfie 602042 offered them money to. Someone did anyway to use a sextant to, and they just won't because it can't. The sextant requires it to be a globe. A sextant.
See, now Wolfie's offered people money to use a sextant. I'm not so sure he's got this right.
Someone did anyway to use a sextant to, and they just won't because it can't. The sextant requires.
I've got a sextant here. I've used it. Give me my money, Wolfie. Give me my money. He won't even come and talk to us about Wally's stuff. Wally can't come and talk to us about Wally's stuff. I don't know what Mr. Sensible's talking about. I really don't.
It to be a globe, a sextant is based on globe mathematics and the almanac.
A sextant. To go over this again, Mr. Sensible, ladies and gentlemen, here we go.
Is based on globe mathematics and the almanac is based on globe mathematics.
The magic book might be based on.
What do you mean?
On magic. Well, a sextant just measures angles.
Right, I'm going to. I do apologise, Bev. I'm going to read out 2 super chats. One from the Elmigs for €2 saying nee. But another one, Buster's just super chatted $2 saying Al Bundy is doxing in your chat. I don't know the name Al Bundy. Doxing is not acceptable. Again.
Now, I don't personally watch the chat in the YouTube. For this reason, because they are some of the most horrible things you will ever read about yourself, is what the people that watch Mr. Sensible and things like that, what they say in the chat. If he still leaves his chat up, if you want to go and watch it, go and watch Mr. Sensible stuff, but no doubt anybody that's watching this knows what the chats are like in any of these other channels. So thanks, Buster, for pointing that one out. Cost him a bit to send it to Mr. Sensible to let him know. Obviously, he didn't have any mods in there or the mods weren't picking it up. Thanks, Buster.
against either.
Yeah,
well, against anyone, either anyone who's come over here on Bev's crew or anyone who's here on as one of my viewers or subscribers. No doxing Al Bundy.
I timed him out. I saw it happen now, indeed.
Okay, thank you. I didn't see it. So Al Bundy, Al Bundy. If you want to stay, you won't do anything like that. You try anything along the lines of doxing, I'll get you booted. Okay, I don't like doing that. I have no idea who you are, whether you're Globe or otherwise, but no doxing. Sorry, Bev, you were just saying.
I don't know, what was I saying?
Don't know. What were we saying, 42?
He got away from the magic book.
Oh, by the way...
that's what he did.
What's his name? SE Montreal did turn up again. I brought him into live and he's disappeared again, unfortunately.
Yeah,
it could be connection problems. Apparently, Al Bundy was timed out by knob sockets for 300 seconds.
Yeah, that is Nimrod.
Oh dear. Yeah, we were just saying... Well, what were we saying, 42? We were saying that we were...
Yeah, about the DMP, but that kind of went off in the other direction than I expected, because it was not about the arguments, that is something we can still disagree on, but that the conclusion was incorrect and you were misquoted all the time.
Yes.
And Bev is at least able to put that into perspective from the in the correct conclusion.
Oh, I wouldn't say that. I can't remember. I'd have to
but
review what was actually said.
Yeah, but
to,
you
to
said
go over that. Because I can remember you had to go with Sleeping Warrior, right? I think.
I meant to say, Bev, that you say if those are the ifs, then that conclusion is wrong. That doesn't mean that you agree with that conclusion. I do not try to put words in your mouth. But you did that correctly.
And I would say, Bev, that if I felt that someone was putting words into your mouth, deliberately misquoting you, I'm not talking about where someone does something comedic, just some joke video, but where someone seriously takes part of something you said and then basically twists it by cherry picking from part of a sentence. That's not on. It isn't on. It doesn't matter who it is, and that's what they were doing to me. When this Al Bundy turns up, if he's still trying to dox, please, moderator, time him or block him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
It's not acceptable. Not acceptable
Absolutely
at all.
not. No.
Okay, because he's currently timed out, I can't see him to actually do anything about him. So we'll let that timeout run and then take it from there. And Mr. E-Man has just super chatted $2 Australian, saying a session of rational and sensible thinking. Well, there you go. If I'm sensible, Bev, they're saying you're rational.
Oh, that's good. Thank you
Yeah,
very
it's
much.
not bad, is it?
Yeah.
It's not like what they were saying about you before you came on. Oh, did I say that out loud? Well, I must admit, I quite enjoyed that, Bev, because I didn't know, I'll be honest, I didn't really know. You said when we talked about this, was it about a week ago, and we said about doing this, or maybe a few days less, I wasn't really sure where you were wanting to go with this, other than it basically being around the Black Swan. But I have quite enjoyed this.
I wanted to do more logic. Way deeper. We do go way deeper into this. Do you know where the 1.22 came from?
Well, that's geometric calculation, isn't it? Based on a certain
it's
radius.
Tricky, though. Because you're wanting to check the P's and the Q's, and he's instantly telling you don't have to do that.
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah, it's hard to go over something when obviously the topic that they want to talk about isn't the same thing that you are. It's a strange. Yeah. He gave up his P, didn't he? At the beginning. P could be anything. He literally said that. Even put it to cheese if you want. Make it into a sandwich. Yeah, he's got there's these confused faces quite a lot. How?
What do you mean how?
How would you get
mathematics, geometry?
Yeah. 1.22 times the square root of the height of the observer. How did you know how that mathematical formula works and how it
how it come to be. And
Well,
what
I don't know who
means.
constructed it, but I've got to be honest and say I'm not that. I'm being honest. I'm not that desperately interested in it.
Yeah, it's pretty boring. He's not that interested in it. You know.
Instead of just saying I don't know, he has
Yeah.
to make it something else.
I'm not interested. To be honest, I'm not terribly interested. I don't know who made the formula. And I'm not terribly interested. It's only the basis of that logical argument. I thought all of the Globers, to be honest, I thought they'd have fully deconstructed this every way. I thought they did it years ago, you know, rather than talking about a picture. It's really strange, right? That they haven't got any argument and they didn't really understand all of the points that I'm trying to bring up. And I can only just briefly touch on them.
Well, my whole shtick is Flat Earth is absolutely and quite obviously a right load of crap, and it's fun breaking down people's arguments when they try and defend it. It's enjoyable, and as part of that, finding ways to bust it, because some of their arguments.
Like, it's fun breaking down arguments, but he didn't have a clue about the Black Swan. Like, one of the main arguments over the last 2 years.
Only argument that's been formed and widely circulated as a modus tollens anyway.
Yeah. It's the only legitimate argument that there's been, really. One formulated around logic.
And I asked QE when he aired it, presented the Black Swan argument. He said January 1st, 2020.
Mm-hmm.
It's over 2 years ago, guys.
Yep.
Haven't checked the P's and Q's in over 2 years.
Yeah. It's been long enough. We've had problems with it, and since we've got rid of the Black Swan as the number one, like it's the new sextant now, like it was about time we went over and reformulated the logic right back from the checking the P's and the Q's. We'll go to logic. I was hoping when the Black Swan came out that this would have been what people would have been doing, going to the logic, formulating the argument around again, finding out the P's and the Q's and the way to formulate these arguments to get proofs. Because proofs only exist within logic and mathematics. So you formulate your logic or argument with geometry. I mean, that's what the shape things come into it. That's why the Black Swan was so good. But it was just nobody took advantage of it. Apart from us. Well, I mean, we say we took advantage of it. That's where we were. We were based upon the logic and the geometry and the reality. We've just spent 2 years getting our shit together, basically. And now this is where we're at, coming at it with a t-shirt logic. This is what we do. Simplify logic into what it is. You know, it's the best way to have an argument, a discussion. Minding your P's and Q's and getting your shit together. This is where it's at.
Can be quite interesting at face value, or make you hold on. Well, is that the case? So then you start to find out. I mean, I've learned so much just by doing debunking.
He's learned so much just by doing debunking. Is that hot mic? I've learnt loads from everybody that I've talked to.
That's nice. That's good.
Even from me, Bev?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
you
a shame
always
that-
learn something from everyone you talk to, right? You have to.
You can, yeah. Wow, Bev, you're soon going to get yourself a reputation for being slightly reasonable if you carry on like this.
I've always been like this. I've never been any different.
I haven't had a problem. We've spoken. You came on here a long time ago, and we had a chat or a debate, and then I've been on the Next Level server a couple times. I've never had any problems with you. We've always spoken civilly to each other, haven't we?
Mm-hmm.
I see Ezzy Sensible is back in the waiting room. If you want to try again.
Essie Montreal. Oh, no, he's just gone away again.
No, he's here. He's here.
Colon's moved him over. Hello, Essie. Are you in?
SE Sensible is in the chat. And again, what is unreasonable about anything that we've ever done? I think we're the most reasonable group of people there is. Anybody wants to come for a chat? Door's always open. Everybody says what Mr. Sensible says. It's been nice group of people, nice chatting. That's what people come here for.
In here. He's gone mute.
Come on,
Yes,
Essie.
I am. Good
There
evening.
we go.
Good. Oh,
Hey.
success.
Saved
How
the
are
day.
you?
You were ganging
I'm
up
very
on
good.
me,
How's
Essie.
everybody doing?
Yeah, not so bad, not so bad. Yeah, like Bev was saying, me and Mr. 42 were just sticking the boot into Bev and giving him a good kick in, but now you're here. How are you?
Is that so, Mr. 42?
No, he's exaggerating.
So what were your thoughts
Uncomfortable,
on
that,
the
wasn't it?
discussion earlier, Essie?
Interesting topic. I was listening. I thought I'd drop in.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. As I said before, I brought you in the first time. We've now spoken a couple of times, and I've had no issues with you either.
Absolutely. Why should we have issues? Yeah, I mean,
No,
yeah,
not
we're
at all.
both
Not at all.
gentlemen,
We can disagree. We can disagree. That's fine.
Absolutely.
It's quite interesting. I seem to get on with people like yourself, like Bev, like several others. I seem to get on with you guys a lot better than some other globe side people do. I'm not knocking them. I don't know why it is.
Right, I'll just point out he's talking about people like George. Is George still in here in the chat, in the YouTube chat? Because it's people like George that Mr. Sensible's talking about. People like George asking why Mr. Sensible should be talking to us. He got upset with Flat Earth Math as well, did George? So yes, George, it's you are the people that Mr. Sensible. He doesn't understand why you can't come and talk to us.
I don't know, but it's quite good because I get to speak to people who perhaps can't get a platform on other globe side streams.
Find that remarkable myself because we have other people that we've been talking to for years, and they seem to all of a sudden not want to talk with us. Seems strange, like Blue and Bob, and just to mention a few. It seems
Well,
like the
I
conversation
have
has
no
ended with them.
I have no ideas. What? Oh, right. Hold on. I just say, Al Bundy. I see you're there. Okay. You have had every last warning. Okay.
Oh, sorry.
You are welcome
I just removed him totally before you said it.
Right.
He was
okay.
warned already. That was fair enough.
Oh, right. They've asked me to turn up your volume, Essie. Can you just say something else, Essie?
How's that? Is that better?
Try again.
Testing.
And again.
1, 2, 1, 2.
Well, you're on pretty much as loud as I can make it. So we'll have to go with that. You're on maximum right now. There we go. Oh, and apparently it's because I'm a proper grown-up person. That's why we can all get on. That's nice, isn't it? So yeah. So Essie was saying, what do you think about the discussion myself and Bev were having? You said it was quite interesting. I agree. I thought it was quite interesting.
Yeah, I listened to some of it. I was mostly in the chat, to be honest with you, so I didn't get the full thing. But yeah, I heard what you guys said about the logic and the issues that you have with it. Yeah, Personally, what I think about the black swan is it's a picture, and a picture can be subject to interpretation. Now, the only thing I'll say to that is this: the rig is in a fixed location. So I'll say one thing: the horizon, the 3959, bye-bye Charlie. That's what I'll say.
I'm not quite sure what you mean by the bye-bye Charlie.
Well, clearly, the horizon is behind the oil rig.
Oh yeah, you can see it in that photo that I'm showing now.
And clearly that oil rig is in a fixed position. It can't move back and forth.
Yep.
Unless you can give me some refraction that does that. So, at the very least, the 3959 is dead. That's
No.
about the best I can say for this.
No. That but look at the
Right, he says no, but no. Like, SE's just told him that the 3959's dead. He could just say, yeah, he could go to any one of the outs that we've just given him. But he says no, he's defending it now.
Yeah, he was perfectly happy to have PB anything. Now it's now it has to be specifically this.
Yeah. QE says it's gone. SE says it's gone.
So, at the very least,
Bye-bye.
The 3959 is dead.
No.
About the best I can say for this.
No. That
give it me back again.
But look at the two images there. That they are both the same platform. The one is obviously a very clear image taken from close by, so you can see exactly what the platform looks like. Now look on the left-hand side. That's from the Black Swan video. You can see how it is distorted to buggery. Look at the, I don't know what you call it, the crew quarters with a helipad on top on the right-hand side of it. With the right-hand image, it's fairly like a square. On the left one, it's a very definite rectangle, vertical, because it's loomed up. It's twisted. It's what's the word? Gosh, what's sorry, occasionally words just slip my mind. Distorted like crazy.
What would you say? But can you give me the refraction?
Swan. Quite clearly. It with the Modus tollens, there's a picture there that contains a black swan. As the black swan is stated. If you take the locations of those oil rigs, then yes. I don't understand what exactly his argument is when he's saying this.
Behind that horizon, the one on the left is imagery taken from the Black Swan. That is Walter Bislin's simulator with refractive indexes. We got the same thing. On the right is with the standard refraction, which matches the photo on the right. The one on the left is with terrible refraction and matches the Black Swan. Look at the curve of that crane on the left-hand side. Now
Can't
look
tell
on
you
the
anything.
simulation.
It's not proof of anything. It's just a picture.
No.
That's why this argument leaves people like yourself, gives them an opening to that's Bev's major issue with this. One of them,
Well, let me show you
I
this.
have to agree with that.
Nice one, Essie. I would have said something about Walter Bislin and his fucking models. Walter Bislin makes a model of it. Big deal. It doesn't stop it from being a black swan within the framework of the argument that QE put out there. That he already gave up the R value. Now he's defending it and saying that there is a geometric horizon there. You just can't see it because of it's being loomed up. Different rates at different days. But I'm guessing when he sees this one, this is the one that he would have as the one that he wants.
Because that's what it seems to me, that when they do that, like he's saying that is it an auto mode that he's in now defending the Black Swan? Like, because I bet he's debunked it a lot of times beforehand with
That's
using
exactly
this very argument, like this, you know, which we didn't really give him chance to, right? He didn't prepare anything, or unless this is what he had prepared for his debunking of the Black Swan, but not the actual argument, right? Not the logical part of the argument. His debunking of the Black Swan is a picture.
Well, yeah, a computer model.
Yeah, well, he's debunking a picture with a computer model made by Walter Bislin. A bit like supporting a picture with the model by Walter Bislin. He does quite well in these sort of things. He's always a reoccurring figure. Is old Walter. Shout out Walter Bislin, one of the best model guys around. You know who else we know who's a good model maker? He was paying homage to Walter. Even Stingray. Walter Bislin is definitely the head honcho in the model making business.
This is the simulator. Both images are showing that both platforms with standard refraction on a globe. I will change the left. Hold on. This is calculating it right now. That is applying dreadful refraction. Oh, look, it matches the Black Swan.
Tell me what you.
He calculates refraction on Walter Bislin's. I've never seen this model. Have you? Anyone else ever seen the Walter Bislin refraction calculator model? The one that adjusts stuff. I've never even heard of this. And I don't know what I was doing. I might have gone to the toilet or something, because I can't even remember him saying this.
I think that proves to you. What does that prove?
And this is those are the refracted light rays that produce that image. Look how it's bent and twisted. With standard refraction on the right, there you go. Can you not see that those bent light rays, because of the temperature gradient that's been applied to this simulator, that's what gives you an image like that on the left, which happens to match.
That's
the
impressive modelling ability.
And incidentally, if you went back to standard refraction and made it a flat Earth, this is what you'd see. You would actually see more than you would do with the Black Swan. So basically,
okay,
it's
so
found.
now you have a computer thing that shows this, or rather that means absolutely nothing, with all due respect.
Well, then you're going to deny refraction. Refraction is really well known. Sorry, say again, pal. I missed what you said. Say again.
I'm saying, what exactly are you saying? I'm trying to understand what you're saying. Are you saying this proves a globe? That there's a curve there? That there's a drop there?
I am saying, right?
Right.
That image on the right, that's applying standard refraction to two platforms at those distances. And that simulation matches the actual real photo.
Okay, and what does that mean in your head? What does that mean?
Well, it means that model, that refraction model, is obviously good.
Hump.
By applying standard refraction, you end up with a computer-generated image which happens to match reality. If you apply, let's go back to, if you apply this dreadful refractive index, producing that image there on the...
He just keeps going over the same thing again. Like, if I mess about with these numbers on this model that Walter made, this does this. I don't get it. I mean, if that's all they've got, that's pretty bad. Once again, Walter Bislin. Walter Bislin, ladies and gentlemen. Walter Bislin.
The left, that happens to match the black swan image, i.e., that refraction that's produced that image is absolutely horrendous. It's bent and twisted to buggery.
Okay, so in your mind, I want to get this straight now. In your mind, the picture that you brought up before, with
which?
the two different old platforms, the one on the right.
This
right?
one here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You're saying that that is what we see in most days, and
Yes.
the one on the left is the one that we don't see in most days, correct?
That is even the text on the original video.
Yeah. Hold on 1 second, because that is what he says on his video. Once in a while, not very often, there will be days when conditions are right to see the full image. That full image being the black swan one. That is on BLMS's video. So, 10 out of 10 for 10 out of 10 for his honesty for actually saying that.
Yeah. So understood. So then we can both agree these are both visual effects, right?
Actually, yes. This is an extreme visual effect. This is a visual effect that you'll see most days. If you go back to the simulator, let me just switch them both back to images. You can actually, we're looking at the image on the right. That's the same as this is what you see most days. If you apply zero refraction, i.e. if we didn't have an atmosphere, that is what, it's still generating now, but that is what you'd see. So actually, if I make them both, so we've got standard on the left and zero on the right. So the one on the left is what we see most days. The one on the right is what we would see if we did not have refraction, if we did not have an atmosphere.
Understood.
There's not that much difference, but there is a difference.
Okay, bring up the good one on the clear day, the one that you think always should appear. Bring up that one if you don't mind.
Yeah, that's appearing on the right now. So I'm going to...
Can we agree that one of those is actually a black swan, though, according to the logic, right? Like, if you set it up like it is going to be a black swan, like all of these horizons should be white swans, right?
Yeah.
Then one of those is definitely the black swan, right?
Absolutely.
You can't get around that, can you?
No, I don't know quite what you're saying. Because the black swan, as it appears on this left-hand simulation or in this left-hand picture, is something that can occur.
Yeah, but it's not still be a black swan within the way the logical argument.
All it's saying is refraction is a thing, and at its extremes, it can look like this. Mm-hmm. Whoa! And on an extreme, i.e., once in a while, it does look like that.
Yeah, so
therefore they prove nothing about the radius of the Earth.
Yeah, what you guys have done have took it away from the geometry, which is the actual modus tollens is set up around the geometric principles of a presupposed spherical object.
Yeah,
and you guys have took it away from that and put it into the picture realm and the optics.
But Bev, we didn't do that. We didn't do that. The modus tollens that QE, or at least the modus tollens I saw that Mitch was using, and I believe is the one that QE said, it said then every geometric horizon must be no further than. Absolutely. Geometric. And then what did they do? They didn't show us a geometric horizon. They didn't measure a geometric horizon in some way. They showed us a single photograph of an apparent horizon under extreme refractive conditions. So they set it up quite correctly with a radius of this, the geometry should be that. And then they didn't show us any geometry.
Short interruption, Mr. Sensible. Colin asked me if you need to check your DM.
Oh, okay. 1 second, I shall do that.
Well, you see, I put a picture in about the black swan that we got when DP came down to the beach. So, it's no big deal because it's just our black swan, right? We were the ones that took the picture that showed the horizon behind the oil rig. No big deal.
So, sorry, I was looking at this DM, Bev.
No problem.
It looks like we've got a few more people. Oh, this is interesting. We've got a couple more people we could bring in.
Whoa.
And I'd keep it fair.
SE's too powerful. You can bring as many people as you want. I've got SE here now, man. Right,
no,
listen to this
SE's
now.
been all right. We've been having a chat. But we've got Kyle Adams, who was on last night. Kyle Adams from the Flat Earth Institute of Science is here.
Has anyone ever heard of Kyle Adams, the Flat Earth Institute of Science? Let me just go back over that again. Like it's a really weird thing to introduce yourself as.
Got Kyle Adams, who was on last night. Kyle Adams from the Flat Earth Institute of Science is here.
Has anyone ever heard of that? Or has he just been made up to help some people?
Are they being serious right now?
Yeah, this is some dude that's just appeared. Mr. Sensible's trying to invite him in. Have you never heard of him?
I have never, in all my years of flat earthing,
you've never
heard of Kyle Adams.
What about the Flat Earth Institute of Science? Have you ever heard of
No,
that?
I didn't even know there was a Flat Earth Institute of Science. There's a Flat Earth University. That's just like a saying. It's not actually a Flat Earth University. But that was more of a Mark Sargent thing.
Yeah.
But I've never heard of the Flat Earth Institute of Science.
Well, he's here. Kyle Adams. Let's hear. I think he's from Facebook.
And we could pick some... have you met Kyle or spoken to Kyle?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, let's bring in Kyle. You're on the stream again, and
good evening, Kyle.
Let's bring in.
Oh,
hello, Kyle. 2 nights on the trot, eh? You must be a glutton for punishment. And
well, you're talking about the Black Swan, and I just had to bring up the. Yeah, I just had some stuff to say because I was listening to you there.
Okay.
So, with the Black Swan, can we agree that downward refraction can cause the horizon to appear higher than the non-refracted image?
Well,
we agree
I mean, it gives you an apparent. I mean, when you look, all you.
I don't know. You see, he comes in with the Black Swan optical argument that you've heard before, but did anyone hear that? When I heard that, I thought that sounds like flat Earth math. A little bit nervous, twitchy, sort of. I don't know. I'll give you it again, just in case you might hear him again at some point. Here we go.
It looks like we've got a few more people. Oh, this is interesting. We've got a couple more people we could bring in.
Whoa.
And I'd keep it fair.
SE's too powerful. You can bring as many people as you want. I've got SE here now, man.
No, SE's been all right. We've been having a chat. But we've got Kyle Adams, who was on last night. Kyle Adams from the Flat Earth Institute of Science is here. And we could pick some... have you met Kyle or spoken to Kyle?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, let's bring in Kyle. You're on the stream again, and
good evening, Kyle.
Let's bring in.
Oh,
hello, Kyle. 2 nights on the trot, eh? You must be a glutton for punishment. And
well, you're talking about the Black Swan, and I just had to bring up the. Yeah, I just had some stuff to say because I was listening to you there.
Okay.
So, with the Black Swan, can we agree that downward refraction can cause the horizon to appear higher than the non-refracted image?
Well,
we agree
I mean, it gives you an apparent. I mean, when you look, all you ever see is the apparent horizon.
Okay, but does downward refraction cause it to appear higher or lower in your understanding?
In my understanding, I think it makes it appear higher, doesn't it? Because the curve is curving up and over and down towards you, so then you're looking up that curve. So yeah, it lifts it. I believe it's that way round, but
I believe that is also correct.
And here we got Ellen of Cyrene. Good evening to you as well.
This is also Brenda.
Brenda, yeah.
Yes, so it doesn't matter either one. It's fine.
That's something we can establish as common ground between me and you, because that is the very first thing I pointed out in the fish tank laser experiment, that downward refraction caused the entire boat in the experiment to appear higher, as well as the entire horizon. So here you're talking about the black swan image, right? And with the black swan image, I've noticed that
Black swan image? Why are you talking about the black swan image?
Same level in each picture, and so how do you know, like which one is higher and which one's lower here? Because
right,
I think
let me just go, Kyle. I'm calling it back up again. Do you mean those two photos there?
Yeah, you see the horizon.
Yeah.
Which,
well, I wouldn't worry. I wouldn't worry about it. That is tilt of the camera. So it's not whether that line of the horizon is further up the screen or not, but it's how that line of the horizon compares to the platforms. On the right-hand one, the horizon is in front. On the left-hand picture, it's obviously way beyond.
That's what I tried to bring up yesterday, is kind of your lack of a control image here, is because if the camera's tilting up and down, we can't see which horizon appears higher and which one appears lower. And so that's kind of why I point to the skunk band horizon image, because
there's your control image. There's your control
Can
image.
I just nip in and say I'm going to have to go. I'll catch you some other time, Kyle. And nice to talk to you, Mr. Sensible.
Sure.
Okay, thank you, Bev. I appreciate the nice discussion we've had this evening.
Okay, right. I'll catch you again. Any other time we'll have to do this again. It's been good.
Yeah, no worries. Okay, take
Thanks
care,
a
pal.
lot.
Thank you for joining us.
Good evening. Bye-bye, Bev.
So Mr. Sensible,
Well, gentlemen, so I'll
There you go. Boom, ba boom. Let me sort that out. Screen.
You didn't want to stick around and talk to Kyle and Brenda?
Nope. Not at all.
Right, okay.
Why would I want to do that?
Kudos. Because you wouldn't. Let's try to be funny.
So yeah, I mean that was as far as I'm concerned, that was mission successful. I went over there to point out the fact that the logical argument is unshakable. Oh, QE wrote a few things wrong. Let me just get that. QE's. I'll find the part that that he was talking about in. I mean, it's in the way QE wrote it that gave the whole thing with. Where is it? Oh, what? I thought I had two of them. Yeah, it's on this one anyway. There you go. If P, then Q, not Q, therefore not P. If the Earth is a sphere with a radius of 3959 miles, then the horizon distance measurements, no such fucking thing, must be no more than 1.225 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. That came from the curve calculators, if you want to find where all those numbers come from. Or you do what Stingray does when he's building his models. Just Google it. Not Q, horizon distance greater than 9.141 miles. Because of the fact that the horizon's beyond the platform. Pretty simple thing to do, that. There's no actual measurement there, but you already know how far the oil rig is away. And if you can see that it's behind that, then, yeah, of course, it's further than the distance to the oil rig. That works. And then he says, Earth is not a sphere. Well, no. Earth is not a sphere of radius 3959. It's a bit of a thing, but I mean, as we showed at the beginning, he gives up the radius value. They've got the spherical object, the oblate spheroid object that could change. You know, that changes that. They've got the fact that nobody knows how you measured that. But so, like, the logical statement is not really set up as it should be. Well, I'll put the thing on again.
Modus tollens is a logical statement set up in such a way that the truth of one statement implies the truth of the second. When the second statement, the consequent, is shown to not be true, then the first statement, the antecedent, must also be untrue. T-shirt logic is a way for these simple logical principles to be broken down for ease of understanding. One such example is the modus tollens, which has been developed by the logically minded individuals at the next level Discord server. If the Earth is a spherical object, P, then the surface of liquid water at rest must curve, Q. A water level is a tool which establishes a horizontal plane of reference, consequently not Q. It is not Q, therefore it cannot be P. Ergo, the Earth cannot be a spherical object.
Getting good at doing that, am I? Yeah, there is another modus tollens that does get rid of the spherical object. So that was my trip over to have a discussion with Mr. Sensible, because he was the closest thing that they've got to logic on the globe side. Now I offer up that same sort of conversation to Betty if he wants to. Similar sort of logical discussion, calm. That's what we try and do here now. Yeah. Yeah, anyone can come over. We'll have a discussion. How's the chat doing? We got oh, we got Blue in the chat as well, eh? Nice one, Blue. Thanks for popping by. Blue and George. Blue got upset about us getting kicked out of thing, but Blue's one of the ones that can't talk to us, and that's okay. Just stick in the chat, text chat, and we'll be fine. But if you want to come and have a discussion about that, we go over the Black Swan, we go over all of the stuff. You replace whatever you think you've got. We've got the new, the new Modus tollens. Feel free to discuss about that anytime you want. Bring on the horizontal paradox and the acceptable paradoxes. Is anyone in the chat here? I think everybody's gone quiet. Anyone want to add anything from that? I've got that video that Blue did as well, going over us. We'll do an inception. Go over a few points that Blue did. For the Jessica Kozlowski, the other Walter Bislin model thing. We're getting a recurring theme. Walter Bislin modelling stuff for people within this argument. I think it's very strange. So what are we doing? How long have we been going? My live stream says only 27 minutes. Has there been a blip on the YouTube live stream? Oh no, what, 3 hours? 3.5 hours. Right, Monday night tomorrow, Model Affliction Mondays. Anyone want to come over? We're willing to accept, talk about models for one day only. We admit we are model afflicted, and that's always on a Monday. 8 o'clock-ish, I guess, something like that. Does that sound like a good time? 8, 9, who knows? But we're back to normal schedule. Globus tollens. Right, anybody got anything they want to say, or I'm going to sign it out? I'm going to have to get an ending thing for a sign out. Oh no, how about that? I'll put Buster's song on, and then I'll end this stream at the end of the right. Okay, so see you all tomorrow.
Yes, this is basic geometry. Your flat Earth geometry. Flat Earth geometry. This is basic geometry.
It is.
I called you a flat earther.
My name's Ramsey.
Insisting that your flat Earth geometry will work.
I'm familiar with the bubble, Morty. I also dabble in precision, and if you think you can even approach it with your sad naked caveman eyeball in a bubble of air, you're the reason this species is a failure, and it makes me angry.
Did he say a 5-sided square question mark?
You're a universal horizontal waterer.
You're drunk.
I called you a flat earther.
You want to experience true level? Do you?
Yes.
You want to experience true level?
That auto level is establishing a horizontal. That's just the way it is.
Because I've done the test with an auto level, which gives you a horizontal.
Yeah, it's gonna look super flat.
All right, come on.
Wow, it's so.
3 coplanar points.
Oh Christ!
Yeah, true level, bitch.
I called you a flat earther.
If you're into math, there's a certain shape where you could make a 5-sided square.
Are you suggesting that horizontal can't curve?
Oh, everything's crooked. Reality is poison. I want to go back. I hate this.
What's his deal?
Morty. Go to school, Summer. I'll go in Morty's memory and do a little.
Randy, come on, that's a globe. And he eventually just gave up and said, yeah, I agree, it's a globe.
Geodesic is a continuous string of infinitely small, straight lines.
Yeah, true level, bitch.
It's pretty flat and level now.
Randy, come on, that's a globe.
Yeah, true level, bitch.
Randy, come on, that's a globe.
Lance to the cosmic slaughter!
Well?
You seem to be in charge of what I get to remember.
Why?
Good question.
Randy, come on, that's a globe.
I'll go in Morty's memory and do a little.
Burn right to the ground in pieces. But from the ashes come.
Wow, it's so. Oh my god! Oh Christ!
Yeah, true level, bitch.
If you're into math, there's a certain shape where you could make a 5-sided square.
Ranty, come on. That's a globe.
Yeah, true level, bitch.
Wow, it's so...
Oh
my god! Oh Christ!
Yeah, true level, bitch.
I called you a flat earther.
True level, bitch.
I called you a flat earther.
True level, bitch.
I called you a flat earther.
Yeah, true level, bitch.
person to think.
When you get to the end of this test and you have a result and you say level is horizontal and everyone says big whoop, that doesn't prove anything about the shape of the earth, will you then say yes it does?
No.
No. Okay, I'm going to bed. All right.
Okay, so you...
I'm going to bed.
That level is horizontal is good for you then, right?
I agree. I agree level's horizontal. All right,
Sweet.
good night.
True level, bitch.
Perfect.
Wow.
Nice, mate. I came
Nice.
in just for that. You flipped it, man.
Yeah, true level, bitch.